If there's a but, I smell it.
Good morning.
If there's a but, I smell it.
See, well, I never know whether they got my pot open, whether I got on the first time or not. So I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, I didn't hear you the first time.
Ah, there you see. It was a good thing I came back the second time.
Yeah.
Guess who died?
Guess
Constance
who died?
Moore.
Yeah.
You know who that is?
Constance Moore? Somebody else died.
84. Huh?
Somebody else died, too.
She was a actress and singer who starred in a string of WW2-era movie musicals and was Buster Crabbe's co-star in the 39 Buck Rogers serial. She was 84.
Before my time.
Oh, come on, but Buster Crabbe, you got to remember him.
Yeah, the swimmer.
Buster's Crabs, right.
He was an Olympic swimmer.
She was also in Broadway musicals in the early 40s, yada, yada, yada. She had a Dallas radio show. She was in Delightful Years with Jane Powell with the big boobs. Remember Jane Powell with the dry heads?
Yep.
And Show Business with Eddie Cantor and George Murphy. Remember Eddie Cantor and Ida Cantor?
I'd love to spend each hour with you.
We were talking the other day about Al Jolson and Larry Parks and the jazz singer.
Yep. That was about the only thing Larry Parks ever did.
Dennis O'Keefe in the Hit Parade of 47 with Eddie Albert, Without the Pig.
Wow.
She also appeared with Ray Milland and William Holden in the wartime drama I Wanted Wings. William Holden, one of my favorite all-time actors. Boy, he was great. He was so great, including in Network, which Josh Cordes didn't like, but nevertheless.
Didn't like Network?
No, he didn't understand it.
Well, the problem is he's not mad as hell.
No, the problem is he's never been in the broadcasting business.
He works here, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I get it.
If you've ever been in radio, then then you really, or TV, you really appreciate that movie. But he's been on the periphery, on the bubble of it.
You know, speaking of radio, I was talking about what the St. Louis Cardinals are doing, and you would know this, Neil.
Yes.
The Cardinals had a huge following throughout the Midwest because of KMOX, 50,000 watt station, and the Cardinals have a giant fan base because of that.
Dizzy Dean.
Now they are going with a local a 5,000 watt station that's going to pay them $2 million more a year. And
that's a bad move, boy.
And the Cardinals are buying 50% of the radio station. That's two bad moves.
Like the Dolphins going on that's a good analogy there, going on a horseball station for a little bit more money.
Yeah, and then winding up buying it.
And putting a minor league broadcaster on there who isn't qualified to do anything but maybe cure his syphilis.
Well, they're going to take the same broadcasters. Mike Shannon and whoever else does the Cardinal games will still be doing the broadcast. Well, Joe Buck doesn't do radio. He does television.
I see.
So,
well, that's kind of unusual. It used to be that they would swing the real teams would swing the TV guys back between radio and TV.
They don't do that so much anymore.
Well, they should. They don't do anything anymore like put good people on.
But
where's Harry Carey and Bob Prince when we need him?
I'll tell you, I don't like that if that's going to be a precedent. You know, the idea that you're working for the franchise, you're not working for a station.
Right.
So therefore, I mean, because of the relationship, they've tried to put restrictions on you. But imagine if you had to answer to the Marlins ownership, for example.
Oh, here we go again. Listen, you've only got until the end of December to get through the Greg Reed era from what we're hearing. So please, I'm begging you, we don't need suspension number 90. We don't need to be P-Valled again, Mr. Goldberg. Jesus.
I tell you, I've told.
I take all the crap, and you're
I have
like
told.
A whirling dervish these days, out of control.
I've told my friends in the broadcast business around the country that you call me P-Val, they're hysterical.
Yeah. I see a tremendous
very funny.
There. P-Val without the powder.
Number 88.
Although you might have to take a powder pretty soon again if you don't cut the crap.
You know, I used to get suspended in high school. I've always been suspended.
Anyway,
I once got suspended because
suspended a sentence.
I was in, we used to have to take a chorus class, and the guy who taught the class was kind of the butt of everybody's jokes, and a friend of mine and I worked out a thing where we were on the 3rd floor. That's where the chorus class was.
Yeah.
He went down and lay on the sidewalk, so when the teacher came in, I was standing by the window yelling, "Oh my gosh, I hope he's not hurt." And he came over and looked down and saw the guy lying there on the sidewalk. And, he's calling, with whatever the equivalent of 911 was at the time then.
Yeah.
And then when the guy got up and started walking in the building, so I got suspended. The other guy didn't get suspended. I did.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be starting with the Marlins again for several reasons. Not just the suspensions, but they're toast. Speaking of that other station, they're toast.
Oh, yeah.
Tana.
It's over.
Now, getting back to Rita, I don't know what's wrong with you. Well, I do know what's wrong. They're a bunch of crazy bastards. But if you watch this thing on TV there, I don't know if you've been looking.
What have they
CNN.
done? They've lowered it's down to a 3 now? Is that?
No, it's a 5. What are you talking about?
The Beast came in here before and told me it was a 3.
He is so full of it, man. I got the latest advisory I've been watching. It's a Category 5. It weakened a little bit down to 170, but that's still well over. It's Category 5, and it's moving a little, instead of due west now, west-northwest. And if you watch it spinning, the top quadrant there,
Louisiana,
has got so much heavy-duty reds in it, and it's going to like barrel into Louisiana. If anybody thinks those levees are going to hold again, you're dreaming. And then all they keep talking about is Corpus Christi and Houston, which is fine. It's probably the eye is probably going to go there, but the heavy-duty outer bands, which they just can't sustain that. That's a storm surge. They can't handle it in Louisiana. No way. And they're not talking about that much.
Catastrophic.
Now, interestingly enough, speaking of suspensions, the poll I'm taking today might be of interest to you. Of all the things that I talk about, which is the least interesting to the audience?
Of all the things you talk about?
Right. And I got a list here of things that,
Why don't you ask what the most interesting is?
I'll get to that. We've done that.
Okay.
But this is negative. Don't you know where you are, mister? They like negative much better than positive. South Florida, man. That's their message. We hate everything. So hockey wins so far by landslide, 64 of the first 275 votes. Hockey.
Really?
So don't ever mention hockey. And you're not going to be pleased with what's number 2. The racetrack talk. They don't want to. Well, I told you that a long time ago.
Yeah.
They don't. They're not interested. They don't know Nick Zito from Nick Saban. They haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
There's a few people who are, but that's it.
Very few. Lester Green shirt and a few of the old degenerates there from the track. Defoe that's busy kicking the tickets over on the ground looking for a winning ticket. You know, that crowd. And of course your buddy Tom Jicka, who should only rot in hell. But nevertheless. And number 3 on the list so far is Mo.
All of a sudden, you saw Mo.
You don't want to hear talking about Mo?
So it's a good thing I don't talk about him much anymore because he's small potatoes. I don't even know if he's back from New York and his bris or whatever it was coming back today. I don't know.
Oh, did they give birth?
Somebody, I guess he's a grandpa again, or going to be, or was, or something.
Yeah, that's.
You mean to say you haven't brought him a big cigar or something yet?
I'm looking for a store that sells the exploding type.
Exploding cigars.
Yeah.
I know you are so bad, boy. And I'm smelling another one, P-Val.
Wouldn't that be great to give him a cigar
and have it explode?
Ah.
I think that your contempt for him transcends mine by a million miles. I think that I'm actually your friend compared to you.
Yeah. I expect you guys to be dining together.
No, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But you're obsessed.
He will replace Rimmer, who's left town as your dinner partner if you came back to town. But you're not coming back to town, so what does it matter?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to Columbus. Hey, Rimmer, if you're listening online, I'm not going to Columbus. I don't care how many times you call with Doug McClain. Rimmer that used me as a prop. I told you that.
Oh, they want you to come to Columbus?
Yeah. Oh, I've already got the invitation. Come to the game. We'll bring you up in a press box. We'll take you to dinner. Yeah. Like I'm going to go to Columbus, Ohio for what?
Then you should...
As a matter of fact, I had a story. I never got to it on the air, but there was a story a couple of days ago about some of the people, the evacuees, excuse me, not refugees, the evacuees from the Katrina.
Yeah.
And, of course, they scattered them all around the country. One of the places that they wanted to send a bunch of people was Columbus, and they said, we don't think so. I mean, they wouldn't go.
You know what they'd be singing in about a day?
What would that be?
Goodbye, Columbus.
Oh, I see.
Remember that movie?
And I was thinking maybe they'd be singing Goodbye, Rimmer.
That, too.
So they'll be seeing some improvement, the Panther fans, on the telecast because Dave Strader's going to be doing the games. He used to do the Red Wing games and then was on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing about Dave I don't like is he talks through his teeth. He does that same thing that Eric Reed does, shoving to shoving. I hate that.
Yeah.
He's good.
I like Eric Reed,
though. A big improvement over Rimmer.
I like Eric Reed.
Yeah. He would be great if he would stop doing that affectation thing.
Yeah.
He'd be sensational, but he won't stop doing it. I don't know why. I don't know why guys do that. Josh Cordes did that the first time he was like sitting there with us on this show about a year ago. He was doing that thing. I guess they figure that makes him sound more.
How can you not like Network?
Okay, hold on. I didn't say I didn't like the message
it was
of the movie. I said it was rather boring.
I would die because I sent it to you. I actually spent the money to send it to him.
And he said it was boring. Now he's saying it was boring. I just heard him.
Yeah, he was in a coma. The only part he liked was when Faye Dunaway was riding Bill Holden. When he was holding it.
Bill Holden was a great actor.
He was so good, man. It's incredible to me. I just can't believe how great he
Stalag
was.
17 was the best.
How sad, how absolutely sad. Two things that were sad. Number one, that he was in that awful Omen 2. He should never have taken that part. That was a real stiff movie.
Yep.
And the other sad thing is that he died with a bottle in his hand. Oh, and speaking of that, I got a great story from the National Enquirer. You'll never guess what president is drinking again.
Our president?
Our president. Your president is drinking again. Huh? He's cracking under the pressure. The dry drunk is now becoming the wet drunk again.
Well, he goes out with his nephew.
There you go.
Tilt a few together.
Yeah. And, of course, the nephew, then the niece, she's the one. She hangs out with Susan Powder. At least just the powder part. So,
what a family.
On that note.
You know something? Talk about a dysfunctional family.
Oh, and look at this. Look at this. If that bitch would get out of the way, and now they're starting to show that thing making a little. See, that they don't know. They just don't know. And I'm getting real nervous about those poor bastards in. Well, all of them. Of course, Texas. They've already got 1,100 soldiers down there. They're not going to sit back and let his fellow Texans get battered the way they did those poor people in Louisiana.
They cleared out Galveston.
And I think what this is all about is somebody brought it up the other day, and I think they may have a point. I think that God who sometimes has bad aim, he's going for Crawford, Crawford, Texas, and he's got to get this thing inland. He had bad aim the first time. It was a little off course, but this time that thing may wobble right through, right across the state into Crawford. It's a message for Bush, man. God is pissed off. You have messed with the primal forces of whatever that was, of man, Mr. Bush. That was good, that story I had yesterday where it had the whole not the whole speech, but a big part of the Ned Beatty speech there in the ITT boardroom in that boring movie network.
Yeah. There were so many great scenes in that movie.
And so many great actors and actresses in that movie, too. Just one of the all-time greatest. Anybody who didn't like that movie has no appreciation for great film, Josh. I'm just telling you, it's got to be a top 5 on everybody's list, top 10 minimum. Right up there with Godfather, Cuckoo's Nest. There are some.
Where do you put broadcast news?
Under the newspaper.
Didn't like it.
Awful.
Really?
I don't think I ever watched it. I never did watch it.
I like that movie.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a movie that was awful. Was
if you've ever worked in a newsroom.
Erosion and talk radio, that was one of the all-time worst.
Yeah, that was bad. But if you've ever worked in a newsroom or in a television station, it's...
well, I haven't done either one of those.
There's a lot of truth in that movie.
Yeah, well, what about Network?
Same thing.
Network was... And look how far ahead of his time Paddy Chayefsky wrote. Another one of the great movies that he wrote, The Hospital with George C. Scott.
Yeah, what a tremendous movie that was.
Tremendous movie and right on target. Right,
yep.
I mean, people having the wrong leg dismember. All sorts of things. People going in for like tonsillitis and having their arm removed.
I mean, that was considered a sick movie when it came out.
But both of these movies were ahead of their time.
Yep. All right. Well, we're behind on my time right now and your time.
The good thing is that we only see Rick Sanchez real late at night at CNN. They're on to him.
Does he do a squatting routine there?
No, he's doing that same hyperventilating thing, and the wind is really blowing here. Blah, 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 blah. Although that's one thing, he's no Rita Cosby. Have you ever seen her, Rita Cosby?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to have a good laugh, if you're depressed, you had a bad day gambling, whatever, just turn on MSNBC between 9 and 10. You'll laugh your ass off. You'll either laugh or cry, because how she could be on the air looking like that and B with no voice, it's just amazing to me. She makes Lenny Martez seem like Walter Cronkite. So have a great day.
You too. And
keep your nose clean, as they say to the governor's daughter and, what's her name? Keep your nose, Kate Moss, keep your nose clean.
Yeah, she's out of work.
Well, too bad. See, she's on that diet. See you tomorrow.
I'll be careful.
Is it the 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
Are you ready to order, sir?
Yes, I'll have the... Shoot! Steak, please.
This man suffers from a rare form of Tourette's syndrome called G-rated Tourette's.
That comes with a vegetable.
I'll try the... carrots, please.
Symptoms of G-rated Tourette's syndrome include uncontrollable outbursts of euphemisms.
And for an appetizer?
How about the... Shucks! Shrimp cocktail.
Unfortunately, there is no cure for G-rated Tourette's.
Would you care for a salad?
Yes, the heck house salad. Oh, wait, you know what? Make that a golly, gosh, Greek salad.
Okay, that's one.
Dadgummit.
Greek salad.
The good news is G-rated Tourette's isn't as offensive as other forms of Tourette's. The bad news is it's a lot more annoying.
And for dessert?
Oh, I'll have the fudge.
Watch it. You're right, George. That thing, the last lurch of that Rita thing is almost like due north. I know that it wobbles along that path, but boy, that last lurch looks very ominous.
It's hooking.
It's ominous.
Absolutely.
Yo, infidel dudes, you better get jacked for the gnarliest, most tubular and barrelsome wave of attacks by me and my terrorist brosips. No longer will you be amped to shred righteously to the Narmax in peace, for soon you will rip no more, but you shall experience a total faceplant at the hands of my squarular bros. Allah Akbar, which means God is wicked full-on rad. Party on, Muhammad.
Oh, God.
10:18 at 560 WQAM. I'm looking on the Sun Sentinel's got a pretty nice infrared satellite image of the Hurricane of Rita. And I'm looking at it right now. It's in motion. It put the motion in your casket, and it's just like you said. It's making a little northward, which is why they changed the course instead of due west to west-northwest, which means, if anything, it's moving a little north of where it was before. And the last movement there is bad movement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's bad.
You ever have a bad movement?
All the time.
All the time. And the outer bands, which, of course, being they move in a counterclockwise, so those outer bands are going to come whipping around, and looks pretty nasty to me. I don't want to get everybody into it, because who cares? Who in South Florida cares about such things? There's your president. He's drinking again. We'll get to that story. The pressure's getting to me. He's cracking. Here's the poll from yesterday. Where the hell is it? Do I have the poll from yesterday? Oh, don't tell me I'm doing this again. Here it is. Oh, that would be really bad to have an epidemic of losing it. The worst TV or actor or actress ever is or was. And if you missed the show the other day, what we're doing is we're going back and taking up a whole bunch of polls that we used to do before. And for the next 20 years, going to be doing those now. And why not? Because we haven't done some of these in a very long time. And if anybody calls us, oh, well, you knew that once before, guess what? You know what my response is to that?
I give up.
Your mama. The worst TV actor or actress ever is or was Donald Trump, 166, Chuck Norris, 146, Tony Danza, 125. If inquiring minds want to know, those are the same top three that we had the first time we did about a year ago, that poll, only a different order. Tony Danza won a year ago, and then it was Donald Trump second and Chuck Norris third. Anyway, Tori Spelling, 112. How are you spelling that? Victoria Gotti, 82. Feh. Mr. T, 81. From that team, eh? Bob Saget, 79, which George says he actually likes him now from his movie work, but on TV. Extraordinarily annoying and unqualified. Roseanne, 67. David Caruso with the orange hair, 67. Carrot Top. Keanu Reeves, 53. Will Smith, 47. Fran Drescher, 44. Ashton Kutcher, 44. And J.J. Walker, 44. Maybe the two of them are doing something. Ray Romano, 43. Hulk Hogan, 39. David Hasselhoff, 37. He's just a silly person making a lot of money from being a silly person who takes himself seriously, I believe. Jerry Seinfeld, 32. Eric Estrada, 32. Eric!
You fairy!
David Schwimmer, 31. Bill Shatner, 31. He's out of this world. Kelly Ripa, 27. Ellen DeGenerate, 25. She gives me spilkies, man. I can't stand her. Hervé Villachez, 18. Lorenzo Lamas, 17. I'm sure you're pleased with that, George.
Yeah.
I still like Lorenzo a lot. What was the show he was on, Falcon Crest?
Right.
And you know what they say? If you mess with the Falcon, you get the claw. Isn't that what, something like that?
Something like that.
Donnie Most, 16. Don Johnson, 15. Enos Anson Williams, 15. John Stamos, Blackie, who used to be on General Hospital with Richard Simmons. I bet you Richie Simmons was chasing him around the set. John Stamos, 14. Mario Lopez, 13. Bill Cosby, 13. Jaleel White, 13. Is Jaleel White? John Travolta, 12. John Ritter, 12. Hey, John Travolta.
You fairy.
You're not fooling us with that Scientology crap. See, that's the tip-off. See, they think they're fooling somebody by going to that closet. And, you know, it would kind of like being joining the Metropolitan Community Church. Oh, nobody will find out I'm gay now.
Or being a Catholic priest.
Andy Griffith, 12. I just never cottoned to Andy Griffith. They're just, I don't know, maybe he's a little bit too Yahoo-y for me. I'm not big into Yahoo stuff. Suzanne Summers, 9. Alan Thicke, 8. Idiot. Danny Aiello, 8. Angela Lansbury, 7. Freddie Prinz, 7. How's Freddie doing? Oh, I do like his kid. What's his son's name?
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, that makes sense to me. Vincent D'Onofrio, 7. Damon Wilson, 5. Martin Short, 5. Max Baer, son of the boxer, 5. I should have asked Hank about that. They don't want to hear about boxing either. Mary Tyler Moore, 3. Henry Winkler, 2. Hey, Fonz.
You fairy.
Dick Van Dyke's got a pair. Kate Jackson, 2. Jodie Foster, 1. Bud Foster don't have any. Meredith Baxter, 1. Buddy Epson, 1. And David Burney's got the big...
Oh!
And you want to know why? They don't even remember who he was.
Oh.
Meredith Baxter, Bernie, and David Burney,
right.
and all the other
he was
things. Okay, today's poll that we're rehashing, I mean, that we're bringing back because it was so good, and I do like this poll. We're getting a huge response already. Look at that. 382. It's not even 10:30 yet. We got almost 400 votes. If we can get to 500 by 11, you know what that means, don't you, Josh Cordes?
That means 1,000.
That means you can smell it. Man, you can sniff it. Speaking of that, is Mo back today? Has anybody found out yet? It would be nice to be able to do the schedule. I asked Duff that, and he just ran out. Hey, Duff.
You fairy.
He just ran out of there. So we either have Mo from New York or in the studio or who knows Mo at 2. Mad Dog at 4. 6:30 it's the Marlins. Oh, boy. Got a real problem there. I guess, do we want to say it's over? It's not officially over, but I guess it's over.
If I were a betting man, yeah, I'd say pretty much.
I mean, they lost 2 in a row to the lowly Mets, and Houston is kicking ass, and the Phillies scored 4 in the 9th last night and beat Atlanta 10-6. It's just not looking good, man. It's almost mathematical now. It's not good. Anyway, the Marlins at the Mets at 7 o'clock or 7:30, whenever the hell it's on. Eddie K after the game. That's our schedule today. We don't know about Mo, but we will let you know. 394 votes of all the things that Neil talks about, which is the least interesting to you. And you can add some things on here, although some of the ones that are on here, and of course we put the same ones on the poll now that were on there when we did it originally a couple of years ago. Hockey, 64. Let's see, hockey won last time, and it's in first place this time. The racetrack was second last time, very close second, and it's second again this time. 64 hockey, the track, racetrack, 43. Nobody except old Jews wants to talk about the racetrack. Old Jews who smoke cigars, which I'm surprised Humper don't smoke cigars, and don't suggest it to him because it's not a good idea.
No.
With all of his other issues. Mo, 25, and of course it's probably just as well. We hardly ever talk about Mo no Mo because it's just boring. Diet Talk, 20. I can't remember last time I talked about Diet Talk. I talked mostly about eating ice cream, so they're probably pleased with that. The stock market, 20. Well, the futures show, they're confusing me with Rick Riley. I don't talk about the stock market. Maybe when we first did the poll, all I'll say about the stock market is a sucker and his money are soon parted. How's that go? Suckers born every minute and a fool and his money are soon farted. Those bedtime stories, 17 at 6.9%, are right in there with Miguel and Tommy Jicka. Those bedtime stories. Stop reading on the air, you lunatic, you lowlife, you quisling. Gay stuff, 16. Stuff that's gay. Inside radio stuff, 14. Well, see, as you go down here decreasing, that means more and more people like hearing about those things, like Inside Radio. They love that. And by the way, speaking of Inside Radio, Tom Taylor, stop faxing me that stuff. 4:30 again this morning. I wake up and I hear bada-bing, 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 and the stuff is coming across my fax machine in here. I don't want to be awakened. I don't want the faxes. Just email it to me. 2 days in a row, I send them an urgent message. Stop faxing, you lunatics. And that's the Beast fault again. The Beast actually went on the air and said the hurricane is down to a Category 3. That goes to show you, if you want accurate information, always listen to the Beast. See, when a guy's got no neck, when he's so fat that he's got no neck, how can there be any circulation to where his brain used to be? See? It all goes to his fat ass. Politics, 13. Amsterdam, 8. Religion, 4. And health problems, 2. Health problems? I don't have any health problems. Well, how about my diabetes? How about my blood sugar and being fat? I don't know what that means. Huh?
I guess stuff like that.
Well, that's in last place, so maybe I ought to talk more about things like...
I'm dying over here.
Maybe that would please them. Anyway, speaking of the Beast being full of it, Rita could become the strongest hurricane ever to make landfall in the U.S. history. Hurricane Rita grew into a monster storm, 175-mile-an-hour sustained winds. Now it's 170 as it swirled toward the Gulf Coast, prompting more than 1.3 million residents in Texas and Louisiana to flee in hopes of avoiding a deadly repeat of Katrina. Governor Rick Perry urged residents along Texas' entire coast to begin evacuating well in advance of Rita's predicted landfall Saturday. And New Orleans braced for the possibility the storm could swamp the misery-stricken city all over again. And although they're not going to take a direct hit, nevertheless, they're going to get some crap. Galveston, Corpus Christi, and surrounding Nueces County, low-lying parts of Houston and New Orleans, were under mandatory evacuation orders as Category 5 Rita drew energy from the balmy Gulf waters. It certainly couldn't be that global warming, could it? Yes. Forecasters said Rita could be the strongest hurricane on record to ever hit Texas. Did I say the U.S. mainland? Well, ever hit Texas, and maybe the U.S. mainland, too, by the time it gets there. Only 3 Category 5 hurricanes, the highest on scale, are known to have hit the U.S. mainland. Most recently, of course, Andrew, which gave us the wallop in 1992. And I'm just going to read a little bit in a minute of the advisory from 8 o'clock this morning, so people have a... and then, of course, your president, he just can't handle it, man. Your dry drunk is becoming a wet drunk.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
I know someone that could use a sandwich or two. Kate Moss, that skinny chick, the skinniest chick I know. Your future's bleak, that heroin chic, you got to lay off the blow. Kate Moss, that skinny chick, we want to know what's the deal. To close the trap when you're in rehab, you're worse than Ally McBeal.
It's 10:32. We'll get to Kate Moss, small potatoes, momentarily. Here's the 8 o'clock advisory. I'm not going to read the whole thing because obviously that would be really ponderous and boring because why do we care, right?
Right.
Let them lose their souls. Potentially, and I'm telling you right now, the Lord is really pissed off at Texas, and obviously we know why. You're president.
He must be pissed off here, too, because the Internet's out. Yeah.
The Internet is out?
Yeah.
Well, how come I still got my...
you got yours.
Got my phone? What do you mean by that? No, usually when your internets go out, I lose my phone thing. Well, but you could hear right there. I got my phone. I got my dots.
Hold your breath, then.
I got my clock. Although we'll see if anybody calls in. Let's test the phone, okay? Somebody call, please. And, of course, with that 18-minute delay, it'll be about what? It'll be about 11 o'clock by the time we get a call?
It's back.
Huh?
We got it back.
What do you mean you got it back? What the hell was that? Was that like a false alarm?
No, it was out for a while.
I noticed the audio vault seems to be working so far today. How do you like
that,
that,
hey,
boys and girls?
Huh? Don't jinx it.
No. Audio Vault's working so far. You can get the spots on. 567-0560, pound 560 on the Verizon Singular Wireless line. I don't see the phone ringing at all, which means either nobody is listening or the 25-minute delay hasn't kicked in yet. We just want to do a phone test. When's the last time we wanted to do a phone check and we didn't see all the lines line up? I think you're right. Everything is screwed up. Oh, there they go. Phone check. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, buddy.
Okay, thank you. Goodbye. See, he was going to say something. Potentially catastrophic category. I didn't want to talk to these people yet. Oh, see, now they're all ringing like, oh, yeah, we can, the phone works. Everything's fine, okay? It's getting a little bit ponderous now, wasted like the first, 3.5 hours of the show every day because our technical ability to stay on the air. But I'm sure they still have that big sign on engineering, 24/7, international broadcast, all this other. Yeah, right, you guys suck. Let's face it, you're a joke. I've seen better engineers in a kid's basement up north than kids playing radio. Potentially catastrophic Category 5 Rita over the central Gulf of Mexico. Slight weakening anticipated today. Slight. At 8 o'clock this morning, the eye of Hurricane Rita was near latitude 25.2 north, longitude 88.3 west, or about 490 miles east-southeast of Galveston, and about 595 miles east-southeast of Corpus Christi. Rita is moving toward the west-northwest, near 9 miles an hour. See, it's slowed down, too, which is also not good. And this general motion is expected to continue for the next 24 hours. Maximum sustained winds estimate near 170 miles an hour with higher gusts, which makes Rita a potentially catastrophic Category 5 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson-Norcross-Kamal scale. A slow weakening trend is forecast, but Rita is expected to reach the coast late tomorrow or early Saturday as a major hurricane at least Category 3. That's minimum. Tides are currently running about a foot above normal along the Mississippi and Louisiana coast in the areas affected by Katrina. Tides in those areas will increase up to 3 to 4 feet and be accompanied by large waves, and residents there could experience some coastal flooding.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So obviously the real question is, are those levees going to hold up? And they showed this morning how they're trying to reinforce it. They're like desperately hanging on with those levees. They had to bring the Jews in to try to save everybody. Okay, here's the story that everybody's waiting for from the National Enquirer. This really gives you a sense of renewed confidence, when you know the man on the button used to be a dry drunk allegedly, and now he's back to being a wet drunk. And, of course, then he's got the niece who's the coke-snorting psycho, and he's got the nephew that's the drunk that just got busted in Texas the other day, and then he's got the other nephew that's, drunk and doing wheelies in his girlfriend's parking lot, and all these other things. And then, of course, his brother who's, busy ripping off SNLs. But other than that, what did I tell you? Don't ever trust anybody named... Yeah. Bush's booze crisis. Haven't I always said that? Don't ever trust anybody named gay.
All the time.
Faced with the biggest crisis of his political life, this is from the Enquirer. President Bush has hit the bottle again, the Enquirer can reveal. And the Enquirer don't lie. Bush, who said he quit drinking the morning after his 40th birthday, has started boozing amid the Katrina catastrophe. Family sources have told how the 59-year-old president was caught by First Lady Laura downing a shot of booze at their family ranch in Crawford, Texas, when he learned of the hurricane disaster. His worried wife yelled at him, "Stop, George!" Following the shocking incident, disclosed here for the first time, Laura privately warned her husband against falling off the wagon and vowed to travel with him more often so that she can keep an eye on W, the sources said. When the levees broke in New Orleans, it apparently made him reach for a shot, said one insider. He poured himself a Texas-sized shot of straight whiskey and tossed it back. The First Lady was shocked and shouted, "Stop, George!" Laura gave him the ultimatum before. It's Jim Beam or me. She doesn't want to replay that nightmare, especially now when it's such tough going for her husband. Bush is under the worst pressure of his 2 terms in office, and his popularity is near an all-time low. The handling of the Katrina crisis and troop losses in Iraq have fueled public discontent and pushed Bush back to drink. They pushed Bush. A Washington source says the sad fact is that he's been sneaking drinks for weeks now. Laura may only have just caught him, but the word is his drinking has been going on for a while in the capital. He's been in a pressure cooker for months. The war in Iraq, the loss of American lives, has deeply affected him. He takes every soldier's life personally. Do we believe that?
No.
It affects him emotionally and it has him drained. The result is he's taking drinks here and there, likely in private, to cope. And now with the worst domestic crisis in the administration over Katrina, you pray his drinking doesn't go out of control. Everybody get on your knees and pray, okay? Another source said, I'm only surprised to hear that he hadn't taken a shot sooner. Before Katrina, he was at his wit's end. I've known him for years. He's been a good old Texas boy forever. He had a drinking problem for years that most professionals would say needed therapy. He doesn't believe in therapy. He never got it. He drank his way through his youth, through college, and well into his 30s. Everyone around him is drinking. Another source says, a family member told me they fear George is falling apart. The First Lady's been assigned the job of gatekeeper. Bush's history of drinking dates back to his youth. Speaking of his time as a young man in the National Guard, he has said, one thing I remember and I'm most proud of is my drinking and partying. Those were the days, my friends. Those were the good old days. We ought to play that, shouldn't we? What the hell was her name that did Those Were the Days? Molly, wasn't
I
it?
don't know. I'll find it.
Oh, you know. Those were the days. Come on.
I can't think of her. It was ancient history.
It was on Apple Records, I believe. At age 26 in 1972, he reportedly rounded off a night's boozing with his 16-year-old brother Marvin by challenging his father to a fight. I didn't know he had a brother named Marvin.
Me either.
Did you?
No.
I'll be damned. On November 1st, 2000, on the eve of his first presidential election, Bush acknowledged that in 1976 he was arrested for DUI near his parents' home in Maine. At age 30,
About 30, man.
Bush pleaded guilty and paid a $150 fine. His driving privileges were temporarily suspended in Maine. He did a P-valve. I'm not proud of that. Mary Hopkins, that's what it is.
Very good.
Oh, it just dawned on me.
No S.
Hopkins. She's
right.
hopping on it. Okay, that's enough. I'm not proud of that. He said, I made some mistakes. I occasionally drank too much, and I did that night. I learned my lesson. Another interview around that time, he said, well, I don't think I had an addiction. You know, it's hard for me to say. I've had friends who were addicted, very addicted. They required hitting bottom, going to AA. I don't think that was my case. He said, in other words, he's in denial, like most drunks. Dr. Justin Frank, a Washington, D.C. psychiatrist and author of Bush on the Couch Inside the Mind of the President, told the National Enquirer, I do think that Bush is drinking again. Alcoholics who are not in any program like the President have a hard time when stress gets to be great. I think it's a concern that Bush disappears during times of stress. He spends so much time on his ranch. It's very frightening, is what the good doctor says. How do you like that? And, of course, the President's got his itchy finger on that button right now. You know, that might divert our attention from all these catastrophes and ineptitude and all this cronyism and brownie hounds and all this other stuff that's going on. Just punch that button, baby, and just launch one. That might, solve our problems.
This
forever.
is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
And Dave Wanstead is dumbfounded.
Was moving on up. Gas is so high. The pulse has gone right up the sky. Moving on up. Gas is so high. And there ain't no relief in sight. Before I go to the station, I gotta ride me a bank. Takes a lot of dead presidents just to fill up with that tank. Take a look at the gas gauge. The needle's pointing to E. We're gonna fill up. Don't you worry, baby. But now we can't afford to eat. Well, it's moving on up. The price is so high. There's too much demand and no supply. Moving on up. Gas is so high. There ain't no relief in
I'm dying over here.
1047 at 560 WQM. Still no word on the Mo show. We're trying to we're checking with all our sources to find out, is it a go with Mo or whatever. Speaking of that bit I just played, Rita could equal $5 gas. So in other words, if you got a 16-gallon tank, that would be like $80 to fill up your tank. $80.
Lovely.
Used to be, huh? It used to be about 24, 25, right?
Right.
$1.50. Now we're talking $80. Thanks, Mr. President. I realize that global warming has nothing to do with all this, so we can't blame you. Remember when gas spiked to $3 a gallon after Hurricane Katrina, says this story in CNN in the money section? By this time next week, that could seem like the good old days. $3 a gallon, good old days. Weather and energy experts say that as bad as Hurricane Katrina hit the nation's supply of gasoline, Rita could be worse. Katrina damage was focused on offshore oil platforms and ports. Now the greater risk is to oil refinery capacity, especially if Rita slams into Houston, Galveston, and Port Arthur, Texas. We could be looking at gasoline lines and $4 gas, maybe even $5 gas. If this thing does the worst it could do, said energy analyst Peter Butel of Cameron, Hanover, this storm is in the wrong place, and it's absolutely, positively, at the wrong time, he said. Michael Schlachter, chief meteorologist at Weather 2000, said Rita now appears most likely to hit between Port Arthur and Corpus Christi, Texas, sometime between tomorrow afternoon and Saturday morning. Just about all of Texas's refinery capacity lies in that at-risk zone. There is no lucky 7-10 split scenario, to use a bowling analogy. He said if you're a refiner within 200 miles, you're going to feel the effect. When Katrina hit, 15 refineries, nearly all in Louisiana, Mississippi, with a combined capacity of about 3.3 million barrels a day, were shut down or damaged. That represented almost 20% of U.S. refining capacity. Within a week, almost two-thirds of that damaged capacity to resume some operations. But 4 refineries with nearly 900,000 barrels a day of capacity are still basically shut down. If Rita hits both the Houston-Galveston area as well as the Port Arthur-Beaumont region near the Texas-Louisiana border, and that looks to me like where it's going, by the way. Well, not that I know anything, but that looks like where it's going. That looks like George where it's going. And
Right.
Josh isn't looking at it because he's busy rewatching Network. That could take out more than 3 million barrels of capacity a day, according to Bob Tippie, editor of the...
Who?
I wonder if he's kin to Tippie Hedren, editor of the industry trade journal Oil and Gas Journal in Houston. Before Katrina, the system was already so tight that the worst-case scenario was for a disruption that took 250,000 barrels out of the picture a day. That would have been considered a major jolt, he said Tippie. We're already in uncharted territory now. We can't project what happens from another shot the size of Katrina or worse. Part of the problem is that skilled crews needed to make refinery repairs already busy trying to fix the Katrina damage. That would extend recovery time from Rita, so then they could really rape you. Problems could spread beyond the gas pumps. Tippie said natural gas prices could see a further spike since so many of the offshore platforms off where Texas produce natural gas, not crude oil. And while gasoline imports have helped bring gas prices down from record highs, there isn't as much potential for heating oil imports. Gasoline tends to obscure everything, especially since we aren't paying heating bills right now, Tippie said. But we're already looking at winter fuel problem. We're about to take another hit that will cause a lot of problems, he said. In other words, they are gonna rape you, man. Drop those checkered pants and get ready, because they're gonna rape you. They're going to take every dime. You're going to have to mortgage the house just to fill the tank. I'd get a bicycle is what I would do. I'd do like the Dutch do. Get a bike, I'll believe. Don't you think? Now, I'm thinking of another one for the poll, and I'm sure there must be some other ones, things I talk about in the show that they couldn't care less about that they hate. How about food? Talk an awful lot about food on the show. In fact, we did that whole week on food, which our sales department did a fabulous job following up on that, by the way. Nice going, guys. And you too, Berkeley. You silly person. Food. You going to put that on there?
Yeah.
Especially ice cream. I'm always talking about ice cream. I have no idea why. 5670560. Pound 560 in the Verizon and Singular wireless line. That would be like a heroin addict talking about heroin all the time. Or Kay Moss talking about blow. The Rimmel London cosmetics firm said today it was reviewing its contract with model Kate Moss after newspaper photos showed her apparently snorting cocaine, apparently. The statement came, either that or she's just picking her nose. The statement came 2 days after the firm said it planned to continue its 4-year association with the model. Pictures recently published in the Daily Mirror newspaper in London appeared to show the 31-year-old Moss snorting cocaine. Moss acknowledged last week that tabloid reports of her recent cocaine use were true. It's true, baby. It's true. She's doing it. She's snorting it. She's taking it up the nose. British police also said they're investigating the allegations. Rimmel London is shocked and dismayed by the recent press allegations surrounding Kate Moss's behavior. We're currently reviewing her contract, company spokeswoman Caroline Pycroft said. I wonder if she's related to Caroline Beasley. Hennes and Mauritz, Europe's largest fashion retailer, earlier dropped Moss from an upcoming ad campaign. Chanel said Wednesday it would not review Moss's contract when it expires in October, but said the decision was unrelated to drug allegations. Moss had been the face of Chanel's Coco Mademoiselle perfume since 2002. The fashion company Burberry also announced it agreed with Moss to cancel plans for an upcoming campaign. Burberry said it was saddened by her current circumstances. Aren't you sad about it?
Yeah, so...
right.
Sad,
WQAM, hello.
Yeah, hey, Neil, how you doing?
Pretty good?
Yeah, there's a shock. Hollywood type 2 with Coke. Okay, that's news.
Especially
listen, I got a suggestion for a poll. You might want to check it out. In general, what job or profession do you think is stealing their paycheck?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I think we've never done that one. We've done all kinds of polls about different kinds of jobs, but we've never done that one.
Right.
In fact, we did one poll about certain kind of jobs that we can't even talk about no more thanks to Joyce.
Exactly.
With Monica, right. Okay.
Among other things. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Let's see. What kind of, profession? Well, I'll find a way to word it. But that's a pretty good idea, right? It is. Stealing money. Like politicians, for example. That would probably be near the top of my list. Just stealing your money, raping the public. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
You're the shizzle, my nizzle.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm out of here, man. I'm moving to Canada. I can't stand these Julios down here.
Okay, good luck to you, pal. As a matter of fact, I got a story on that, speaking of Julios, about the no picket inglés. Where the hell's that story? It was way down in my pile, but thanks to him, I might have to move that up. It was from California, but you could change the wording from California to Florida and have the same result. Now he's going to make me look for it. I'm looking for it. I'll have to find it during the break. But it has to do with people offended by people speaking Apani. Not that there anybody in Florida offended by people who don't speak English, although this is kind of a reverse story. Yeah, it's called A Bilingual Message for Ms. Xenophobe. It's in the L.A. Times. But I'll get to it. In time. You know what I'm saying? In time. As Linda Blair would say. She was a real head-turner. I wonder if Josh liked that movie, The Exorcist.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine?
What's not to like?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you're just not all that enthusiastic about any of the movies that we love. I guess because they're all old and we're all old and crusty and, it's not like the really great movies that are out today.
Now you're getting somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I can't think of any, but there must be some. WQAM, hello.
poll on barbecue places and which newscasters would you like to see having sex?
In the barbecue joint. That's not bad. What about Shorty's in Kendall? They built a whole metro rail just for Shorty's. WQAM, hello. QAM.
Hey, how about a poll for a suggestion about a poll?
WQAM, hello.
Ian Prozac.
WQAM, last call, hello. See, this is what we've done to them. This is I love it. I feel like I made such a major achievement, you know? Mm-hmm. Because by doing this, taking the old polls and having the, not the entire list, there's always room for like a little bit more, but having generally the basic list on there that we used before, now it's like, now they're going to have to come up with some reason to call, something to say. Not that that's going to happen, but now the pressure, and that's why we're getting such a marginal to non-existent response. Well, we got one for the poll, but you already got it on there. Yeah, that's right, because that's boring. It's terminal. It is just, I'm sure that Jicka would rather hear that than hear me reading these ponderous bedtime stories that are probably way above his bald head, but that's beside the point. We hate you, Tom. See, it wasn't just the one phony letter that he made up, and it wasn't the letter, it was the response. That's what kind of porked me up. But then he goes on with Mr. Ego there on a station that nobody even knows what the call letters are, on a program that nobody listens to, and just, and it must have a tremendous tune-in audience, because we got one fax about it yesterday. It just happened on Monday, allegedly. We have no way to prove that. And nobody else even verified it. Nobody even seconded that emotion. So nice going, Tommy. You always were best on the station that nobody's listened to. Especially when you started gripsing. Look at that, 514 votes, and it's not even 11 o'clock yet. What do you think? I'm thinking like 25,000 votes today.
This is Neil Rogers. Rock solid. This is 560 QAM.
You fail. Where did you learn your trade, you idiot? Whoever told you that you could work with men? What you're hired for is to help us. Does that seem clear to you? To help us. To help men who are going out there to try to earn a living. You company man. You fairy.
Sooner gonna get you. Sooner or later, the Sunni's gonna get you. Sooner or later, the Sunni's gonna get you. The Sunni's gonna get you. In the war you'll never win. Resistance is what you'll find when you commit genocide. With the blueprint of Nazi occupation, Iraqis try to defend their homes against us instead of the Saudis that deserve retaliation. Sooner or later, the Sunni's gonna get you. The Sunni's gonna get you. In the war you'll never win. You leave no child behind by sending them off to die in a war that's insane and homicidal. One symptom of genocide is that the people you find with weapons produce get suicidal. Jesus was God. Jesus was God. Jesus was God.
.02 at 560 WQAM. 544 votes on the poll already. And you notice that? See, there are no calls on the board. That's because we got all the choices for the poll. We've taken away their thunder, and I'm pretty pleased about it. Last thing we need with all this hurricane stuff going on, is more thunder. Enough with that. We don't mind that chocolate thunder from down under, at the Outback, for example. Ever have a chocolate thunder down under? Anyway, don't say it because Joyce will get PO'd. 544 votes on the poll. Of all the things that Neil talks about, which is least interesting to you? Now, the Humper said, how about doing one on what's most interesting? Well, we have done that, and we'll bring that back one of these days. Not soon, maybe next week. Hockey, 149. Enough with the hockey talk, okay? Thanks, Rimmer, for nearly putting me out of business, you lunatic, you cheapskate. The track, all of that just so we could give him a free meal. I'd have been happy to send him a free meal to his house, A, just to keep him out of the studio, and B, to keep him off the air. And so we could have just continued doing our show at IOD without having to do those. Oh, we need to do a hockey show. And then he would come in and bring George a whole list of all these people. Don Cherry and this one, that
this one
at
10:30, and then at 10:45 you got to call this guy over here. And
oh, brother.
And what kind of coffee you got going? I take it black.
The Rim Man. Hey, Rimmer. Nice knowing you. Stay the hell away. And don't call me anymore. You get on my nerves. I'm not sure who bothers me the most, him or Joe Costello, although I like Joe. Of all the things that Neil talks about, which is least interesting to you? Hockey 149, although keep in mind, nobody wants another Joe. The track 100, the racetrack. I've been begging the Humper. I mean, I know he's very big into it. It's got to do with gambling, and he owns the horse and the whole deal. He's good buddies with Nick Zito, and he actually has seen Javier Castellano naked, I think. But that's it. Mo, 54. Well, it's a good thing. You see how my timing is usually pretty good?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was getting really ponderous, and then when he just started losing it and talking about punching the whole world in the face, I thought, oh, boy, why even waste your time with somebody this? And did we find out if he's on today or not, Josh?
We haven't.
Of course we haven't.
Well, it's 11:05. Is he alive? Oh, boy. Mo, 54. No, not too much about him, no Mo. He just gets on my nerves. Gay stuff, 52. Too much gay stuff, okay? Let's butch this show up a little bit. I don't think so. Diet Talk, 46. Where the hell did that come from? It just started moving up there. Moving on up. A stock market 35, which I can't remember the last time. Years ago I talked about the stock market before I lost my ass. So why would I talk about that? Inside radio stuff 29. Those bedtime stories only 26. That's only 4.7%, which means that of the people we still have listening. See, the people offended by my reading the bedtime stories, most of them are probably long gone already. Wouldn't you think?
I would imagine.
Yeah, they're gone. Like Miguel, he's not listening to this show no more. He's probably listening to I don't know what else is on now. Scare America, or maybe he's listening to No Spaghetti Inglés. That's more like it. We're right up his alley. Probably listening to Radio Free Habana. Bedtime Stories 26 are about the least interested. They can't handle it. They can't stand it. They hate them. Politics 21. Amsterdam 15. They are very much into Amsterdam, especially those shrooms, man. They love those shrooms. I might have some shrooms for lunch today. Religion 11. Health problems 8. And food. We just put food on there 1. 551. This is a staggering. Now look at, there's the CNN thing showing.
Yesterday or the day before.
Showing the,
so we're in
Rita.
the middle of the island, which increases our risk of surviving a lot better, but not in the face of this.
Oh, there's
And
Galveston. Well, we don't want to see Galveston yet. That's a premature evaluation. Did you see those upper bands again whipping toward right toward New Orleans, right toward that peninsula there in Louisiana? Ain't looking too good to me. I mean, what do I know, huh? I'm just an observer. What the hell do I know about meteorology? I ain't no Miss Kamala or Miss Norcross. Gay. WQAM, hello. Not there. See, that line 1 just keeps doing the disconnect. Because I'll sneak a couple of calls in here as we get them, but they're pretty mean and lean because we've already got the poll put together. WQAM, hello.
Can I be on the show?
No. Kill him, by the way. Just kill him. He's way over. That's enough, okay, for today. Go take some Prozac, Ron. Get lost. Go break your kneecaps. Call up Kathy Bates. WQAM, hello. QAM.
The show definitely centers around the game.
Okay, Reverend Jones. Mike Whitney, isn't it astonishing? Isn't it just breathtaking to you? This isn't just a radio show. This is a hobby. Have you ever stopped to think about that?
Oh, I know.
This is not just a radio program. This is a hobby for a whole bunch of people out there. This is their life. This is their
I have no life.
Pastime. And I think it's long past time for some of these people to be taken out. Call up Pat Robertson, see if we can't do a voodoo curse on some of these people. When in doubt, take them out for a long walk. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Listen, Neil, I don't know if I just tuned in a few minutes ago. Has anyone mentioned the 2-page spread in the Palm Beach Post this morning in the front section of the paper? On one page, they lied under pictures of Rummy and W and Cheney and Condi. And then on the other page was a list of every name of every GI who's died in Iraq.
I'll be damned.
To that it said they died. Did you see that?
No, I have not seen that because I don't look at the Palm Beach Post, even on a dry day.
Well, I thought I'd bring it up. There's a website. I'm sorry I can't recollect the name of it, and I don't have the paper with me, but it might be worth a while looking into.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Pally. I'll check it out. No, we haven't had any calls on that because people were too busy saying, Prozac, please, stuff like that.
I'll check, but we usually get the Palm Beach Post in the in the break room. Yeah.
We get the Palm Beach Post in the building? I mean, I could go online and look it up, but it would be a lot more fun if you actually had it right in your hand.
Well, I'll see during the next break or something.
WQAM, hello. QAM. Slow line. Lifeless line. WQAM, hello.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Just think about a poll about how much George's population.
Okay, WQAM, hello.
Hey, can I talk to Neil?
Speaking.
Neil, You are the cause of why your show is demised in the last 3 years.
Oh, my show is
destroyed
demised?
your show.
My
Blame
show has
yourself.
demised? How come you're still listening then, jackass? Yeah, he ain't listening. Now all of a sudden, click. It's demised? I didn't realize we were in demised. I thought we were kicking ass. We had those big, juicy, bloody numbers. Thanks a lot. That's Tom's boyfriend, by the way. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Si tú lo sabes por qué, si tú lo sabes por qué.
WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil,
Yes, sir.
if I understand your poll correctly, I'd like to nominate movies.
Okay. Not interested in movies, huh?
No, man. I love your show, but the movie reviews have got to go.
Okay, movies. That's good. I didn't know there was a. It was like saying, well, we put food on there. I think most people are interested in food, good food anyway. But put food on there, so why not movies? I mean, Josh doesn't like movies, at least good ones anyway.
That guy probably didn't like Network.
I should have asked him that. Damn it! See, you should have interjected there. He probably hated Network like poison. So maybe you can call him back and you can hook up and go to a ball game together, like a Marlin game. Of course, the Marlins are playing at the Mets tonight after losing 2 embarrassing games side by each. You know, they had the bases loaded. That Mike Lowell, man, why didn't they dump his ass a long time ago? What? Nobody wants him.
Yeah, he hit a bomb last night.
He hit a bomb? Yeah, he hit a bomb right when they had the bases loaded in the top of the ninth and a chance to blow that game open. I saw that. That's the only part of the whole game I saw was when and they had the Mets telecast on. Boy, I can't stand that Fran Healy. What a dullard. What an idiot. But isn't it Fran Healy on there? Or is it? I think it is. Or is he on the Yankee? No, he's on the Mets. Awful.
Do you like Dave O'Brien, by the way?
Actually, Dave has sounded pretty good on ESPN. I don't like Dave personally because he screwed over. He's got a huge ego and he screwed over Joe Angel badly, which I like Joe a lot better, much better guy. Dave is okay, but he's got that same generic kind of sound. There's like 8,000 guys who sound like Dave O'Brien. He's pretty good. He's okay. But I thought it was kind of ironic that they blew out Joe Angel, John Henry, and that crowd before the present owners. They blew out Joe Angel because Dave O'Brien wanted to be the main man. You know, he wanted to be the big cheese. And then come to find out, 5 minutes after they did that, and they chased Joe Angel away, O'Brien says, "Oh, well, I changed my mind. I want to go to ESPN." You know. Well, screw you, Dave. Okay, they packed him a salami sandwich and sent him on the way, which is a good idea. Although I'll tell you one thing, they should have kept him as far as over this Rich Waltz guy. I mean, if you're asking me who do I like better, Dave O'Brien or Rich Waltz, is there any contest? No. I mean, Dave O'Brien is like Chet Huntley compared to Rich Waltz.
Compared to that little boy does the games on TV. Oh, now, how many outs does it take to end the inning?
He's not only is he bad and got a horrible voice and clueless and boring, but he doesn't even understand the game. That's what gets me. You know? Wouldn't you think part of the qualification for being a play-by-play broadcaster for a major league sporting team would be understand the rules of whatever game it is? Wouldn't that be good?
That's old.
He hasn't got a clue. And, of course, you notice Josh is, again, very quiet because he sees this guy. And I'm sure that Rich is probably saying to him, "You work on that show with that faggot that's bad-mouthing me all the time." He probably says that.
Actually, he never has, no. I don't know that he knows.
He doesn't know. Well, let's keep it that way. And, of course, they're out of town right now, and I'm sure that no troublemakers will pass along the information that Josh is ripping Rich an ass on my show. 12 minutes after... Oh. 12 minutes past 11. You see, it's really interesting. We take this poll today, which, I think it's kind of interesting to see the stuff that bores them to death. And right away, it's like, oh, there's some kind of a problem with your show, and you're responsible. And in the meantime, of course, they're still listening and just getting all hysterical. It really, I'll tell you, the pain is so great. I don't know if I can survive till 2 o'clock. It just pains me tremendously, the pain that some of these idiots want to inflict. You're horrible. You're terrible. Like that. I would agree with that. I'm a terrible guy. I'm a real bastard. Hey, how did you sleep last night? In a recent national survey by the National Sleep Foundation, fewer than half Americans report getting good night's sleep most nights. One of the primary reasons of not getting good night's sleep is not having a comfortable, supportive mattress, like a brand-new Simmons Beauty Rest Queen set from our good friends at Dial a Mattress. This Simmons Beauty Rest features individually pocketed coils, so you won't feel your partner thrashing around during the night or getting up in the middle of the night and hauling ass. Now it's priced at just $599. This is for a limited time only, so pick up that phone, call 1-800-MATTRESS right now and tell them you want their Neil deal, that great Simmons Beauty Rest for just $599. Plus, a portion of every deal at Dial a Mattress will be donated to Hurricane Katrina relief. When you call 1-800-MATTRESS, you'll get same-day delivery all across South Florida. And by calling 1-800-MATTRESS, you still can choose from the deepest selection. You pick the date and 2-hour window for delivery to fit your schedule, and they show up 99.7% on time. I've been using them for a long, long time, just as most of the smart folks at Q, and even some of the dumb ones are doing, too. They call 1-800-MATTRESS when the old mattress has got to be tossed out. You ought to be doing the same. Log on to mattress.com or give Dollar Mattress a call right now at 1-800-MATTRESS and have a great night's sleep tonight and for years to come, till 20 years from Sukkot, on a great new bed from Dollar Mattress. Call 1-800-MATTRES. Leave off the last S because it stands for Stupendous Savings.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Bitch.
Absolutely.
Talk about your Teflon presidents. Woo, you ain't kidding. Goodbye, George. You gotta go, me oh my oh. You gotta go home 'cause you f***ed up bad on the bio. But you sure flew quick when it came to sick Terry Shiloh. Son of a bush is a foot in your tush. Now say goodbye, yo. Ta-ta, Georgie. While people drowned, you played a round of relaxing golf. Well, he was on vacation. Priorities are not your cup of tea. That's evident-o. Oops. And no one cared to even prepare for the worst scenario. You were the one busy having fun, and that's a no-no. You'll investigate at a later date. That's real bullshit. So, dinky situation. The ones that up should get locked up so it don't continue. But no one will get blamed like with Agent Flame. No heads will roll. Of course. And as for this, there'll be a slap on the wrist and no charges filed. What a surprise. 'Cause you're a liar. No one gets fired with each new message. Nobody. A new death toll, a slip in the polls. That's no problemo. He'll fix it. Your spin machine will deal with New Orleans 'cause that's their job-o. As per usual. Son of a bush is a foot in your tush. You're an asshole. We just don't understand. You got blood on your hands, but want no blame. I'm a problem solver. You made it obvious, at least to most of us, you have no shame. Shame? What's that? And what's with that smirk, you stupid jerk, when people have died? Son of a beach, you should be impeached, and we mean pronto. Now do us all a favor and get the out. You hear? Jackass.
Well, speaking of jackasses, there's the Louisiana governor, Kathleen Babylon Blanco.
Do all you can to protect your family. This is very important.
See, now, what did we say before the show this morning? How come we can see it and all these other experts, these mavens out there, are like sitting like a bunch of, like the Three Stooges, for crying out loud?
Slow.
She's now saying up to 20-foot surge is expected from Rita in Louisiana. Forget about Texas. I mean, Texas is going to get it bad. But up to 20-foot surge, and you can see by looking at the tracking map there that they're going to get some heavy-duty crap, man, again. And so they're bringing all the buses this time. I mean, after all, it is only Thursday. Why rush? Right. They're bringing all these buses in to evacuate Louisiana. Shelters in northern Louisiana being prepared for evacuees. Get off of my show, Mrs. Limbaugh. God almighty, that routine she pulled yesterday, that Bush apologetic crap, whatever she did, she needs to be off of my screen. Darren Rush, whatever the hell her name is. She gives me a rush right in my... rectum. I see that bitch. So there you go, up to 20-foot surge from Rita in Louisiana. Mike Whitney, no relation to former Panther and now Carolina Hurricane. Oh, there's that hockey talk again. Aren't you looking at your poll, you idiot? Mike Whitney writes, no exit to sending into hell with George W. Bush. On Smirking Chimp. He says the bodies of the mangled and bloated corpses are nowhere to be found on America's news programs. Like the countless dead in Iraq, they're purged from the coverage and stripped from the public record. They've been replaced by the well-scrubbed visage of the Potemkin president issuing his comforting words for his people. New Orleans will rise again, Bush crowed, invoking the worn phraseology of the slave era. For a White House that prides itself on appearances and spends over $62 million a year on public relations firms, the Bush monologue on national TV was a dismal performance. His limp promises of restoration, all ringing with the same free-market timber that's left Kabul and Baghdad in a shambles, fell well short of the mark. The ruinous effects of his tenure are now everywhere to be seen, and even the media's impenetrable smokescreen seems to be lifting. Disaster follows Bush like a shadow. It's one of the inescapable facts that haunts his 58 years, and it should provide some meager relief for those who believe that he and his vile regime can't be brought down. Just look around. Iraq, Afghanistan, Enron, Cheney's energy papers, the deficits, the courts, the UN, Israel-Palestine, New Orleans, the corporate corruption, the war profiteering, the incompetence, the lies. Everything Bush touches is reduced to rubble. No institution, however protected, can withstand the onslaught of his withering company. The vast wreckage extends in every direction. Character is fate, Marcus Aurelius said. It's a straight line drawn from a man's birth to his final hour. Some men will fail in everything they do, and there's no force in the universe that can alter their destiny. Harkin, Arbusto, Spectrum, the Texas Rangers, and now the United States of America, all following the predictable downward spiral into the muck. The trajectory cannot be amended by simply putting down the bottle. Failures and which he hasn't done. Failures and indelible blots like the mark of Cain, forever embossed on the soul of its victim. It's part of Bush's genetic code, as integral to the whole mechanism as the cocky drawl or the lumbering gait. The project for the new American breakdown is headed for the political landfill scuttled by its luckless wagon master corporate George. The street scenes of submerged New Orleans, now littered with unattended carcasses of blue-faced victims, is the Bush legacy. It can be softened with the dulcet prose of the New York Times or airbrushed by the feigned compassion of TV anchormen, but the truth keeps popping its head up through the weeds, revealing the devastation. New Orleans won't go away, won't disappear into that good night. America's beloved southern protocol has been vanquished by neglect, pummeled by the erosion of its wetlands and the weakening of its levees. Now the tens of thousands of refugees are fleeing the previously thriving metropolis, much like the people of Fallujah, Tal Afar, and Samarra. In Iraq, the effects of Hurricane George can be seen throughout the Sunni heartland. Rumsfeld continues to storm through Iraq's underbelly like Tecumseh Sherman on his march to the sea, leaving only tent cities and desolation behind. The relief agencies are simply overwhelmed by immensity of the human catastrophe. There's no way they'll be able to meet the people's needs. Bush, of course, just shrugs off such sentimentality. What possible difference could their suffering make? Besides, there's no longer even a trace of plan for Iraq, just the fiendish abuse of force and the drunken elation and slaughter. None of it makes any sense, nor should it. The nation is sinking in an ocean of hubris and delusion. Reason and decency have vanished in the desert Sirocco. Only the rapture of utter destruction persists. There's no stopping this juggernaut. Washington's ruling elite are hell-bent to continue flailing away at every obstacle in their murderous path. This week it's Iraq, next week it's Syria. What possible difference could it make? America won't be digging out of this orgy of terror anyway. Bush has led us to the brink. The economy is teetering, our alliances are crumbling, and the nation is ambling toward disaster. All the while, the dear leader has fixed his vision on the deepest part of the quicksand and trudges onward. America won't dodge the reaper this time. Character is fate. Our future is hopelessly shackled to the dwindling fortunes of our vacuous president, George Walker Bush. Oh, boy. All we can say is, how do you like that? A little depressing, eh?
Yeah, well.
For those of you folks still in America. I mean, you know what I'm saying? 627 votes. Are you impressed or what? Are you blown away?
Well, not as much as some people will be.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the hurricane.
Oh, you mean like Tom Jicka and Miguel?
No, I mean the people in Louisiana.
Oh, that's bad. No, but seriously, how come we can see that? We were talking about it before the show this morning. All you got to do is turn your TV on, and there it is. I mean, we don't need to see Bob Franken and his stupid old ass. There's the thing in the bottom right-hand corner, and watch it, see? Uh-huh. And even Ed Rappaport, who's like a 10-week-old bottle of milk. I mean, even he said, well, this is, we have moved the target a little bit to the east. Yeah, right.
Yeah, to the right.
To the right, exactly. Just like America's moving to the right, as far as they can go to the right. And there's those, in fact, if I just look, I looked at the radar, and there's some pretty heavy-duty stuff still across central Florida, like from Fort Myers all the way up to Sarasota and Port St. Lucie and places like, not Port St. Lucie, Port Charlotte. Hush, hush. So, and there's, just look at it. Some nasty outer bands. And so now finally they decided in Louisiana, oh, guess what? We're going to get some really up to 20-foot surge in Louisiana. Now, do you think that the levees are going to hold a 20-foot surge?
No.
No chance. The chances are non-existent. There's as much chance of that happening as the Miami Hurricanes winning every game they play in the next 40 years. The Hurricanes. You see how that all ties together, the Hurricanes? Mm-hmm. Too bad that kid that kid was so wide open in the end zone. Not that I'm wishing the Hurricanes would lose, of course. Am I?
Yes.
Oh, I am. Car strikes pedestrians on the Las Vegas Strip. Oh, boy. You know, this reminds me. I want to talk to Hank about this, but we had important fish to fry about Hank getting suspended for the 800th time. But a car plowed into pedestrians along the crowded Vegas Strip yesterday, killing one, injuring 13, authorities said. Police arrested the driver at the scene. It reminded me of that cocktail waitress. Remember that story a few years ago? Wasn't that many years? And she won the megabucks for like 26 or 30 million, something like that. I think it was more like
about 30, man.
31 million. And the next day, she gets wiped out driving her car, going to work. She gets wiped out on the road by a drunken driver. Now she's in a wheelchair. She's a paraplegic. You remember that story?
I do.
You win $31 million and some drunken piece of crap comes along and destroys your life. Man. The car jumped the curb about 5:15 yesterday afternoon, drove into people walking in front of the Bally's and Paris Hotel casinos. A 52-year-old man was pronounced dead at University Medical Center. 8 other people, all adults, being treated at hospital. And it's got a nasty picture. What website is this? This must be, it's AP. People laying there in the street being attended to by medical personnel. Just amazing. 5 people were taken to Sunrise Hospital, that's in Vegas, not in Sunrise, where 1 man was in critical condition, 2 others listed as serious. After striking the pedestrians, the burgundy Buick crashed into a wall and came to stop in a landscaped area in front of Bally's. The car's driver, Stephen Ressa, 27, of Rialto, California, was arrested at the scene by an off-duty officer who was at a nearby restaurant. It wasn't clear if he was injured, and results of the drug and alcohol test are pending. Police spokesman Jose Montoya said authorities were investigating whether the car with California license plates was stolen. Ressa was being held in jail. We haven't ruled out whether this was an intentional or unintentional act. How do you like that? Lynette Farmer, 33, of Woodstock, Georgia, walked by the scene after seeing the chaos from her hotel room at the Paris. We didn't hear the crash, she said, but we saw people lying on the sidewalk. Farmer's husband, Andy, said the couple had been down the same stretch of the strip about an hour before the crash. The speed on this road is just too fast, said Farmer, a police officer in Canton, Georgia. Yeah, they're always driving real fast on the strip, about like 2 miles an hour, because it's so congested. And look at the freaking time, will you?
This is Neil Rogers.
You're supposed to poke me in the ribs when I do that.
This is 560 QAM.
I come from Crawford, Texas, with a guitar on my knee. While they died in Louisiana, I raised cash for the GOP. Oh, Katrina, don't put no blame on me, 'cause I come from my vacation for a photo opportunity.
Swing your partner round and round. Now do a little swimming through New Orleans town. Swim to the left, to the right, here we go. Sling a little mud, now do-si-do.
Oh, Katrina, why didn't those people flee? 'Cause it's worse in Louisiana than it is for an Iraqi.
Absolutely.
11:35, 25 till noon. We still haven't found out what the deal is, whether Mo is doing the show.
Oh no,
from New York
he's on from New York again.
From New York again.
That's right.
Mo from New York. In fact, maybe he's taking a page out of my book now. Neil from Toronto, Mo from New York, Mad Dog from Hank from Vegas, Mad Dog from Michigan. Huh?
Right.
Sounds like it's got a possibilities to me. And by the way, the guy that called it about movies for the poll, get a life. It's just amazing to me. Although, you know, it would make no difference because it fits in with South Florida perfectly. The malcontents, no matter what you're talking about. Oh, we don't want that. We don't want whatever it is you're talking about. We don't like.
Well, what do you want? Well, I don't know, but not that.
Listen, that is it. That you put your big fat thumb right on it. What do you want? It's like these people are called in. How come you keep talking about this? Okay, well, what do you want to talk about? Anything but that.
Yeah.
Like
so
in other words,
like name something.
It's like little kids. You know, they know what they don't want for dinner, whatever you're serving, but they haven't got the foggiest idea what they do want, and it's the same thing. We don't want it. We don't like it. Well, you know what? Get lost. Take a hike. Take the radio and stick it inside your
rectum.
Right, especially the car radio. That's always fun. Just stick the whole car in there. 665 votes. I think we better call our friends at the Guinness Book of Records because we are going to go over 700 by noon, aren't we? Ooh. Oh, there's the weather bitch.
As you mentioned, covering up much of the eastern part of the Gulf of Mexico.
Look at the size of that.
Look at the color change here on the storm. Notice how you see all the purples there, and now we're not seeing much of the purples. So we're in the middle of what we call that eyewall replacement cycle. The storm's weakening just a little bit. It's still a Category 5, though. It doesn't get worse than that, does it? 165-mile-per-hour winds. And we'll probably see some continued weakening over the next day or so.
My favorite's that Category.
About 30, man. It'll be a Category 3, 4, or 5 at the time that it makes landfall. Either way, that's still a major storm and doesn't make a lot of difference between the winds that they are now and what they were earlier today. Forecast track, it's moving west northwest.
We ought to get that Glenn Campbell out again, man. Galveston. You can do a little drinking with your president.
9 miles per hour, but we still think that since it's taken a little bit of a jog on up to the north, our estimated landfall time is still going to be early in the morning. We think on Saturday, the projected path, the skinny line.
Look at that, right through Texas, right to Crawford. Where the hell is Crawford? I haven't got any idea what part of Texas Crawford's in. Do you know?
No, I don't.
Well, do Google on there, somebody, and look up Texas map and see if you can find. I mean, I don't know. It never really crossed my mind, nor does it make much difference. But where the hell is Crawford, Texas? And maybe that hurricane is right on the line. Maybe there's a message from God.
Neil, God.
Woman convicted in exorcism death in Georgetown, Guyana. A Guyana jury has convicted a woman of manslaughter for killing a friend during an exorcism ritual. Thank God at least Josh liked that movie. And let me say it again, the guy doesn't like talking about movies. You need help.
Let the power of Christ compel you.
Get out of the house once in a while. Go to see a Schlockbuster. Do something. Do you know anybody who doesn't like movies?
No, I don't.
In fact, look, although it does have 4 votes now, food has got only a pair, and movies has got 4 out of just under 675 votes. How could you not like movies? I mean, even if you don't like current movies, you can always talk about old movies. We've talked about every kind of movies all the way back into the 1800s, before they invented them. It's typical. Why do I get myself worked up about such crap? Oh, speaking of crap, ex-FBI agent in crash denied early release. You'll all remember this guy, I think. Just 3 weeks into a 90-day sentence for drunken and reckless driving, former FBI agent David Farrell yesterday asked the judge who sentenced him to let him out of jail early, and the judge said, no, forget about it. Farrell, 42, of Coconut Creek, was convicted on charges stemming from a November 1999 collision that killed 2 Lauderhill brothers, and then, of course, you recall the whole deal where they tried to blame them. His attorney, John Howers, argued for an early release by telling Broward Circuit Judge Mark Gold that Farrell has lived an exemplary life. Is that Farrell or Farrell? But Gold ordered Farrell back to jail for the remainder of his 3-month term. Gold questioned whether Farrell's motion for a mitigated sentence was filed on time. Even if it was, Gold said he'd still rule against the request. Farrell had been accused of causing the fatal crash by driving the wrong way on I-95 in Pompano Beach. A jury in 2002 acquitted Farrell of felony manslaughter and vehicular homicide charges in the deaths of Maurice Williams, 23, and Craig Chambers, 19. Jurors found Farrell guilty of 6 misdemeanor charges. Farrell served 1 day in January 2003 before he was released on $10,000 bond while he appealed his conviction. Even Eve on the Passions has got a better chance of getting out early. After losing appeals, he began his 90-day sentence on the DUI and reckless driving conviction September 1. Farrell's attorney noted that his client upheld all conditions of his release during appeals. The former FBI agent worked on several volunteer projects, House said. But Assistant State Attorney Michael Horowitz pointed to Farrell's post-conviction driving record as reason to keep him in jail. Farrell received a speeding ticket in South Carolina, April 2002, a citation for failing to obey a traffic sign in Virginia. In October 2004, Horowitz said he was found guilty in both incidents. The prosecutor also argued that following conditions of release and performing service do not justify early release. He's really sad. Remember all the furor? Well, of course, the furor is a bad word to use these days. All the hysteria, and rightfully so, after the jury said, oh, yeah, well, slap him on the wrist. And that's what they did, because that's the American effing way. Must have been those black guys. They must have been responsible. Not that America's racist, you understand. Nothing like that.
Right.
681 votes. I bet you even Josh, who's very difficult to impress, he's a hard ass. I bet you even he is shocked by this turn of developments, aren't you?
I'm amazed.
See? He said, I'm amazed, is what he said. He's amazed that I like the movie Network is what he's amazed at. I don't like the movie. I love it. I watched it probably 20 times. Maybe even more than that. Maybe
about 30, man.
That's how good it is. And even George would agree, and I bet you anybody else with an IQ larger than their thumb would, too.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
WQAM. Oh, the playing game. Oh, FEMA, 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 banana, banana, FEMA, FIFA, Mima, FEMA. Governor Blanco. Blanco, 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 banana, banana, Blanco, FIFA, Blanco, Blanco. Come on, everybody. I say now let's play a game. I bet you I can place the blame for the nasty hurricane.
703 votes.
Bush, bush, go bush, banana, banana, go bush, beef, fine, no mush. Bush. Everybody blame Mayor Nagin. Nagin, go bacon, banana, banana, go bacon, beef, fine, no Megan. Nagin. The blame game.
703 votes, and we're actually counting them like honest today as opposed to like bringing in those people from Diebold.
Yeah.
13 till noon. We got Mo from New York again today at 2 o'clock. Mad Dog at 4. Then the Marlins stuff, well, they give it a shot. And then Eddie K after the baseball game. Marlins at the Mets. Now, the amazing part of it is sometimes I just knock myself out with how amazing and astonishing I am. I'm serious about that. My psychic powers are just beyond belief. Now, didn't I tell you that this Hurricane Rita, that God, he had bad aim the first time. If you don't get it right the first time, do it again. He's the one that said that, didn't he, in the in the good book, or the bad book? And if you look at the map, now, did you look at this before you faxed it?
Of course I did. I marked it. I wrote Crawford on there for you.
Northwest of Houston. In fact, Crawford is so small it's very hard to find on any map, but it's right by Waco's ass. It's right by that Waco. And it's going to go inland, and it's heading right for Crawford, just like I said. The Lord is PO'd at George W. Bush and his whole bunch of Nazis. This is the way you do it. The rest of the country, they're just sitting back on their ass. The Democrats, there's like 3 or 4 of them with balls like Ted Kennedy and Dianne Feinstein. and Diana Christensen. I'll get back to you, Diana. Oh, I'm going to have to watch that again just in honor of Josh not liking it. You know something? If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's okay. Some people don't like spinach. George doesn't like broccoli. I love broccoli.
Or spinach, for that matter.
Huh? Or spinach. See, I love spinach.
Cauliflower.
Especially au gratin. Yeah. I like anything, almost anything with cheese on it. Well, moving along. So if you go to Crawford, Texas, they've got their own website. It is so cute. And it's got the American flag and the Texas flag, and it's got all these little tchotchkes you can buy there. Howdy, it says. Howdy. Y'all come back now. Welcome to Crawford, Texas, Central Texas, the home of the friendliest 705 people you'll ever find. 705 population. We're sure proud of our town and our favorite son, President George W. Bush, it says. And then you can order Crawford photos to use for your desktop wallpaper. You can check out the Crawford area dining and lodging guide. Oh, boy. Can you imagine?
That's
dining in Crawford, man. Have some crawfish in Crawford. The 4th annual Levi Bauer 3D Memorial Archery Benefit. Oh, we missed that. That was back in April. Levi Bauer. I wonder if he's related to Levi Harner. Or maybe just Levi Strauss. And then it goes on. Congratulations to the Crawford football team on yada, yada, yada. They did this, they did that. Be sure and read the Crawford News Archive, it says. And then it says this. You'll love this. Just hang on tight. President George W. Bush and his wonderful wife, Laura, purchased a ranch just outside Crawford in 1999. George and Laura have recognized the beauty of the area and what a great place we have here. Please come by and see us sometime, Rita. We'll be adding several links to help you become better acquainted with where we are, the wonderful area we live in, and the best ways to get here. And, of course, it didn't say what we are because we already know that. Bunch of Yahoo rednecks. Bunch of drooling idiots. Wow. I'm impressed. Here's a fax that says you mentioned Rick Shaw at the beginning of your program. You didn't finish the story you were going to tell. I didn't have any story about Rick Shaw. I just said let's tip our hat because I had the jingle, that's all. Wasn't any story. Well, what is with these people anyway? Huh? Don't they get it?
Come on, finish the story.
There's like no story about Rick Shaw and his cap. If you don't know the story, it's just that he was born with it on. He sleeps with it on. He's a good guy, Rick Shaw. He's a little to the right of Hitler, but he's a good guy. Congratulations, Ricky. He's the longest, as far as I know. He's over 40 years on the air in Miami. He's got 10 years on me. Of course, he probably is about 75, but nevertheless, we like Rick a lot. He's called the show many times, and, the only thing that bugged him one time was that shock radio got him a little bit.
It's a lie. I am not a Nazi.
I'll never forget the day, I think it was my 25th anniversary on the air, and he called and he said, you do great radio. And almost a tear came to my eye. It was just because ordinarily, if you're like not the pedestrian usual crap, all you do is get crap. The media, they dump on you, and they just rip you an ass, and they take the cheap shots, which is fine. I could give a crap less about that, unless it's somebody who's supposed to be your friend like Tom Jicha. You're not fooling me, little Tommy. You always hated this show. You're always second-guessing. You kind of remind me like Norma Kent, only Norma's a good guy, a good girl. But you're just another frustrated broadcaster. That's why you keep playing radio. That's why you fill in with your buddy. We might do that. We didn't do that ever? I don't think we did. Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. And you know what? Too bad, because I got all the music. As long as I went out and spent all that money, I might as well do something constructive with it. But you'll see if you put that on the poll. Boy, she is so great, too, man. Didn't you think she was good, Joan Osborne?
She was great.
But anyway, now you're talking about two things they hate, music and movies, Standing in the Shadows of Motown. So, anyway, he goes on to say, P.S. I used to hate Boomer Esiason until he started bad-mouthing Mo. I hate Mo, and to prove it, I would offer to buy him a meal at the Olive Garden. Boomer Esiason has been bad-mouthing Mo? Do we know about that?
We don't know if he's been
Wow. Well, let's Google it. Let's talk to the powers that be. Let's find out. That sounds like a scandalous story in the making. Anyway, getting back to Rita, if you look at where this thing is supposed to be going, right ass through Houston, and at least a part of it anyway. Maybe not the I, but the I. And right on, it's right due toward Waco and Crawford. The Lord is just jamming it. It's just right on course. See that? The first one, he missed a little bit. It's like lobbing hand grenades. Sometimes they land where you expect or hope, and sometimes they don't. So you lob another one, right? Like throwing spitballs. Sometimes you hit the teacher in the hay, and sometimes you miss. Sometimes you hit Judy in the first row instead, in the back of the hay. Wow. 722 votes. Are you schmitting me? The levees, they're saying.
Basically, at this point, one of the guys said it's really like looking at the crystal ball, Darren, in terms of what could happen here. They've really got to wait to see which direction Rita heads and what she ends up doing to the area of New Orleans. Darren?
That was reading. Now, was that a report or what, huh? Was that a report, Darren? Who the hell is that maricon? Man, that was pathetic. Israeli couple fined for kissing in India. We better take some calls. WQAM, hello.
Hey, what's happening, Pally?
How you doing, sir?
If it's possible,
yeah.
I'd like to see Rita Crosby on the beaded curtain.
Oh, wow. Then we would go to jail if we did that. We'd all go to jail. She had, you know what I'm thinking? It's got to be a joke. Every time I see her, I think, is this got to be a comedy act? Aren't they pulling a fast one on us? You people at MSNBC, man, you are the worst. You're crazy. See, they put that thing on the air. The NBC network put that on there to compete with CNN and Fox. In fact, I think they were on before Fox. I'm not really sure, Fox News. And they don't know what they want to be. They haven't figured out what they want to be when they grow up yet. And so they've tried everything. They tried Phil Donahue, and they tried Linda Ellerbee with the big glasses, and they tried everybody's Chris Matthews in 10 different time slots, you know, talking out of the side of his mouth. And now they've reached, just when you think that they reached an all-time low by putting that bow-tied, simpering idiot Mother Tucker Carlson on there, they finally jammed his back to 11 o'clock at night so they could put on Rita Cosby, their big coup from the Fox News Network. And, of course, Fox didn't want her anyway. They didn't renew her contract because somebody finally actually saw her on the air and said, "Are you kidding me? What the hell is that? What is it? Is it animal, vegetable, or mineral?" And, of course, I mean, you listen to the voice. The first time I saw her, I thought, okay, she's got laryngitis. She's got a cold. You know, she just had bad timing. And she can't speak. So she looks like a pig with a bad nose. She's a cow. And on top of that, she can't speak. Other than that, she is dynamite.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
This is Mark Morgan. It's the 12 to 1 hour on QAM.
Turnabout. That house doubt. Listen. Chances are.
Hi. Hello. Water's warm, huh? I'll say. You come here often? Pardon me? Have you been here before? No, first time. Oh. What's your name? Freeway. Freeway, that's nice. I'm Spigot. Pleased to meet you, Spigot. Same here. You here to get clean or what? Oh, I don't know. You work around here? I'm a waiter, but actually I'm an actor, you know. Oh, yeah, I know. It's tough, isn't it? You probably need to relax. Oh, I'll say, but, you know, with everything that's in the news and all, it's just... Hey, you can start relaxing right now, Freeway. I brought something. Ooh, sheath. And Freeway, not just any sheath either. Look. Wow, gold lame. Pretty kicky condom, huh? But here's the most important part, Freeway. The Protect label. Protect, huh? Aren't those endorsed by the City Council of San Francisco? Absolutely. You know the Protect slogan, don't you? I sure do. Certified safe by the city by the bay. Well, what do you say? Darn, look at that. I dropped the soap again. Oh. I'll get it.
You bet your life he will. And with confidence, because Freeway and Spigot have condom sense. Don't let worry spoil those chance meetings in public showers. Always carry Protect.
Protect. Keep my mind free as can be. Protect. Been down with no apology. Rock it to me, 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 rock it to me.
Don't doubt. Know what it's all about. The Protect sheath, so they won't send you a wreath. Protect Condoms, a division of Black Flag House and Garden Pest Control Division, keeping situations safe since 1887.
Don Imus, before he died, nobody told him. 12:03. See, Josh has a hard time believing that he was once very funny and very creative and a real hoot and a holler, which he was. But the problem is that was 100 years ago, and he croaked, and they just propped him up in that chair. He snaps that gum real good, though. You know what I mean? 747 votes. Speaking of bozos...
To defeat the terrorists, we're constantly adapting to their changing...
Oh, yeah, it's the war on terror. Is there really such a thing as the war on terror?
No.
No, but he's talking about it. 747. Music, by the way, doesn't have any yet. I don't believe that. Because they hate my taste in music. They despise my music. Hate it. And the crap that you play, well... Of all the things that Neil talks about, which is the least interesting to you? Which one puts you into a coma? Which one sends you rushing for that dial? Which one sends you to the bowl to get on your hands and knees and just puke your guts out? Hockey, 206. Oh, Rimmer, man. I don't know which is worse, the Grim Reaper or the Grim Rimmer. 206. Hockey talk. How can Florida, South Florida, have a hockey franchise? It's just shocking to me. It would be like selling bagels at the North Pole. It just makes no sense. The track, 144 racetrack talk. Oh, boy. Next thing you know, Hervé Fillon's going to be on the phone.
Who?
The gay stuff, 76. Well, they don't,
gay.
Remember that poll we did, I don't know, a few weeks ago about what people consider themselves to be bi or whatever? And that, once again, it always comes out that way, only this time even less. I think we have chased those the gay people away because of that drop-in.
You fairy.
See, I keep playing that over.
You fairy.
I think that was like Wolfbane. It's chased them away.
Figured that would draw them in. It's like a mating call, isn't it?
Wolfbane. Or Gary Bain, speaking of jockeys. Don't talk about racing. No more, Hank. No more racing stuff. The audience hates it, except for those 10 crusty old Jews that hang around by the finish line, those losers down there at Calder. The track, 145. So hockey and the track, that's at Gay Stuff 76. Although I do have a couple of stories here. Well, anyway, because we have almost no gay listeners on this show, which really dispels that popular myth about, you listen to Neil, well, you must be some kind of a maricon.
What do you mean? It always comes out to like 10%.
Not the last time. It was like much less than that. Much less than the general population. Like here in Toronto, the gay population is only about 80%. But much less. And they're gone. They're long gone. So why the hell should I cater to people who have no interest in what I'm doing here, I mean, if I were like young and hung and cute and all that other stuff, if I looked like Tom Brady, we'd have a gay audience. Yeah, we'd have like 40 million gay people listening all over the world online, But I'm old and fat and disgusting, and that's the way it is. Got a nice haircut, though. Gay Stuff 76, Mo 69, no Mo, or just, and the timing of that is perfect. See, I could kind of smell that. Maybe it was the muskrat got loose. Mo from New York today, by the way. Missed that. Diet Talk 61. Haven't been doing much of that lately, 193 on the scale today. Men's not that bad, huh?
Right.
Not great. The stock market, speaking of not great, 48. Don't do it. Put your money under your mattress. You got a better chance. Don't turn on the gambling channel, man. There are a bunch of grave robbers. I don't care how much Ted David likes this show, man. We hate everybody connected with that gambling channel. So in fact, something? I'm convinced. Remember the story I had the other day about GE and all the interest that they've got in Iraq and all the money there with the grave robbers that they are? Mm-hmm. Well, GE, of course, owns NBC and CNBC and MSNBC. So you can blame all of the money you lost in the market on them. You can blame Rita Cosby on the Peacock. She is nauseating. I get sick looking at her. Diet Talk 63, Stock Market 49, Inside Radio Stuff 36. They like that. And speaking of Inside Radio, Tom Taylor, stop faxing me that stuff at 4:30 in the morning, you maniac. Those bedtime stories 32. Now that's only 4.1%. The number keeps going down. See, so that means that 96% of the audience is okay, or at least not PO'd.
Okay.
With all those great stories, like that one I read before. I thought that was a good, pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Huh?
Great.
The one about Bush and his cabal of lunatics and the fact that America is basically sunk and stunk, and I think,
So once violent and volatile are now more stable. But
yeah, right. You belong in the stable there in Crawford, man. Politics 23, Amsterdam 20. They like hearing about Amsterdam, especially schleppers like George that can't afford to go there. Wants to hear all about it. Religion 18. They love when we knock religion because this is one of the very few shows in the world that's got the balls to tell what a bunch of crap it is, man-made garbage, and how it sets everybody against each other and all the hatred that's going on. Let's have some Protestant marching days.
Oh!
Just the concept of that is so outrageous, so idiotic,
And it's important.
And they put on their orange outfits to identify themselves as Protestants, and they go march through the Catholic neighborhoods, and the Catholics throw bricks at them and a few pipe bombs here and there. Crazy. I guess that's all the fanatical Muslims are doing nowadays, only on kind of a grander scale. Crazy crap. Health problems 10. They want to hear about that. I don't, although I do have my IBS acting up a little bit again right now.
Let me play that sound effect.
What's that?
For IBS.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Oh, that sound?
I can't do that.
No, irritable bowel actually is more like in your stomach.
Right. No,
as opposed to what you're thinking, like
rectum.
No, even though it's called bowel, Movie 6. What am I going to say about that? 779 votes. Food 4 and music 3. Finally, music got under, but still in last place. I'm shocked at that because they hate my music, despise it, and that's because I'm not one of these punks, one of you, whatever, with your rap crap, thinking that's music, which of course it is not. It's not even close to being music. It's garbage. Swill.
Yeah, that's why.
This is all funny, Daddy.
Yeah, that's why. What are you saying? Thank God it's called the Cool Jerk because if it was called the Hot Jerk, I think Joyce would probably be on the phone in a second. We can't play that. Probably can't even play the Bridge Tender bit anymore where he's doing that idiotic jerk. He says jerk a few times too
Way too many.
779, man. Look at that. What's the president doing?
We defeat the terrorists.
Yeah. Israeli couple fined for kissing in India. India may be the land of the Kama Sutra, the ancient treatise on sex, but public displays of affection remain strictly taboo in the country's hinterlands, as an Israeli couple found out. All they were doing was...
Oi!
They were fined 500 Indian rupees, that's $11 U.S., each for embracing and kissing after getting married in a traditional Hindu ceremony in the northwestern Indian town of Pushkar. Or is that Pushki? Ever have a Pushki?
Pushcart.
The Asian Age, that's what a Pushki is. The Asian Age newspaper reported yesterday the Israeli embassy in New Delhi confirmed the incident, identified the couple as Alan Orpaz and Tahila Salev, who decided to get married while visiting India. The embassy did not provide additional details, but they said they were circumspect. The Asian Age said priests at Pushkar's Brahma temple were so incensed when the couple smooched as hymns were still being chanted that they filed a police complaint. Oh, my God. A court in Pushkar then charged them with indecency and ordered them to pay the fine or face 10 days in prison, the newspaper said. The couple decided to pay the fine and hightailed it out of there, I'm sure. We will not tolerate any cultural pollution of this sort, the newspaper quoted priest Ladhu Ram Sharma as saying, Ramalama Ding Dong. Oh, I shouldn't have said ding dong, sorry. No. Asian Age reported that the priest planned to ask the government to require tourists to be appropriately dressed when visiting the holy town and its temples. Pushkar, located on the banks of Pushkar Lake, is a popular Hindu pilgrimage spot that's also frequented by foreign tourists who come in for the town's annual cattle fair and camel races. Oh, God. To see all the camel jockeys, of course. Oh, don't talk about the racetrack, please.
All right.
Cut it out.
On TV, and she said that people of her city seem to have...
Well, look at that. The vice president made a cameo appearance. There's Dick Cheney with his new knee. He had that little, what do you have, like a thing? He had a thing in his knee.
Did he?
Yeah. I think it was called a...
Rectum.
791. We're going to have 800 when we come back after the break. And this is just, I'm saying our goal today is what, 45, 50,000? I think we can make 1,100 by 2 o'clock.
You can do it.
Huh?
Do it.
And I understand that those people every day when I do this, and they say, why does he keep doing that? What difference is it? It doesn't make a hell's bit worth of difference. It's just fun, that's all. It's something to do. It's a goal. In life, you got to have goals.
Goals.
All of us aspire to win the lottery so we can come in one day or call in and just say, hey, Greg, blow it out your ass. You know, that's our ultimate fantasy, is being able to do that. Win like, 15, 20, 30 million.
About 30, man.
In the lottery. And just saying, hey, guess what? Bye-bye, and blow it out your ass. Yeah, something like that. God, it would give me sexual excitement to say that, to send them a telegram. Just send them a letter in a bottle. Just stick it in Lake Ontario and float it down.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Sing.
Real American A-holes. We salute you, Mr. National Anthem Improviser. You feel the need to put your own special stamp on the Star-Spangled Banner, even though the composers got it right the first time. The crowd wants to sing along, but they can't, because it's impossible to figure out where the hell you're going with the next verse. The members of each team just want to play ball, but the game is delayed because you've stretched the song from its normal minute 20 to 4 minutes and change. American Idol thought you stunk too. That's why William Hung has a record deal and a tour, and you're singing for the East Podunk Prairie Chickens. So we salute you, Mr. National Anthem Improviser, your 8x10 glossy photo, your girth, and your bling bling. You are a real American a-hole.
It's 12:18 at QM. 821 votes on our poll about things that they don't like me talking about, as like almost anything. That's great, 821. Not exciting?
I'm thrilled.
Little did I expect, Ray, when I sat down here. The Republican chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee accused the Pentagon today of stonewalling an inquiry into claims that the U.S. military identified 4 9/11 hijackers more than a year before the 2001 attacks. They're stonewalling, baby. The Defense Department barred several witnesses from testifying at a Judiciary Committee hearing and instead said a top-level official could provide little information on al-Qaeda-related intelligence uncovered by a secret military code team named Able Danger. Probably Sid Abel was a member of that team. That looks to me like it may be obstruction of the committee's activity, something we'll have to determine, said the panel's chairman, Senator Arlen Bushin Specter of Pennsylvania. Specter also complained that the Pentagon delivered hundreds of pages of documents related to Able Danger late on the eve of the hearing, giving his committee staff no time to review the material. The American people are entitled to some answers, Specter be saying. It's not a matter of attaching blame. It's a matter of correcting errors so that we don't have a repetition of 9/11. And there's your president going, bada-beep, bada-boop.
Got a command control.
Yeah, see, there he is. Your president. Defense Secretary Hermann Goering-Rumsfeld said the Pentagon considered Able Danger to be a classified matter and declined to participate when the Judiciary Committee chose to hold an open hearing. We have to obey laws with respect to security classification, Goering told reporters. Witnesses barred from testifying included military intelligence officers and analysts involved in Able Danger, a now-defunct operation that used powerful computers to sift through public data in search of intelligence clues. People involved with the operation have said that Able Danger identified 9/11 ringleader Mohammed Atta and 3 other hijackers as being members of an al-Qaeda cell in the early months of the year 2000. But one Army official, Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Schaefer, has also said publicly that Able Danger members tried to pass the information along to the FBI 3 times in September 2000, but were forced by Pentagon lawyers to cancel the meetings. Much of the information related to Able Danger was destroyed, like this, in 2000. The old shredder, man. Get out the old Nixon shredder. They're shredding it. Why do so many people eat shredded wheat, I wonder?
I give up.
See, there he goes with that food talk again. I never really was that crazy about shredded wheat. Were you?
Well, with the frosted stuff is all right.
I'm just talking about plain old shredded wheat.
That's like eating grass.
Yeah. Here's a fax that says, I hate to have anybody's house blown away by a hurricane, but if it's going to happen, I really like that old fag hag's Barbara Bush's house to be blown away so we can see her in the Astrodome for a good reason. Yeah, I wonder what she's going to be saying about those people in Crawford when they have to move, like, to Wyoming or somewhere. About how much better off they are now because they were a bunch of schleppers in the first place, a bunch of old cowboys. It says, hey, George, I love Miami Velvet, but isn't it amazing how many right-wing nutjobs hang out there? And other clubs like that, trapeze. Really?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they have
a
very valid point.
What a shock. Not. Hypocrites. In fact, the right-wingers, I've always told you that. They got the more skeletons in their closet than at the mortuary. It's just unbelievable. One Saturday night, I think we're going to go to the parking lot and just take pictures of all the cars with little fish in the back. Hypocritical MFs, it says. Oh, don't say MF. So, how do you like that? Right-wingers at nudie joints. 567-0560, pound 560. It would be kind of like being a gay Edgar Hoover into that crowd. We know they would never do nothing like that. Not if there were women involved. QAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing today?
Pretty good, pal.
And George, too.
Yo.
I think it's, I shouldn't be surprised that this Able Danger crap is coming out now because now that the president's ratings are in the tank, they're going to bring this out and try and tie Clinton to this, that this is all the Democrats' fault.
Yeah.
I was on your website the other night, and I caught the thing with Ann Coulter putting her foot in her mouth. I thought that's priceless.
That's a beautiful thing,
I'm surprised that guy didn't put his foot up her behind, actually, because she's so obnoxious.
Well, she's not into that.
And I wonder, talking about movies, I don't want to upset this guy, but have you heard about the gay cowboy movie that's coming out?
Yes.
It's getting very good buzz and it's being talked about as an Oscar caliber.
I saw some discussion about that. I forget where a couple of days ago. Yeah, they were talking about it, how tastefully it's done, if I can use that expression, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that'll have the right-wingers enraged when it comes out.
Oh, yeah, there ain't no gay cowboys. We know better than that.
I sometimes wonder...
And we also know they all ride side saddle.
Yeah, they're always claiming that these storms are God taking, retribution on.
That's right, and if God goes right in there through a Waco and Wacko and right into Crawford, what does that tell us, huh? I wonder what Pat Robertson, what kind of song he's going to be singing about that.
How come they don't consider the fact maybe God is taking retribution because we become a bunch of fascist right-wing lunatics?
And God ain't too happy about it. I'm going to tell you that right now, mister.
I agree. Hey, Neil, you and George have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Good day.
Gathering that information.
Oh, he's doing the old Alfred E. Newman thing again. Well, he's doing the smirking chimp routine again. Nice going there, Georgie. Hey, have another drink. Gee, I sure hope I didn't throw that story. I can always print it out again. I want to do that one again.
Do it.
From the Enquirer about Bush drinking again. I mean, the apologists, they'll never believe anything you say anyway because he could come and take a dump on their head and they'd say, oh, boy, that sure smells good. Do it again, There's nothing you can tell those people. They're just oblivious. They're in denial. Like Grieper, for example. What a quisling. You ought to, just kill him, you know what?
Well.
Huh?
No.
Just go ahead.
What would that do?
Just go ahead and do it. I think I Schmidt came that story. But there's the one. Rita could equal $5 gas. Thank you, Mr. President, for those low gas prices, man. You are you're the Messiah. You're the one we've been looking for. You are the one, like the Voogs said. Remember the Voogs? There goes to that music again. Cheney's just standing back there like kind of picking his nose, it looks like.
And the extent of those obligations?
Yeah. 5670560, pound 5. Let's get a lot of calls in here today, okay, because we don't want to get Miguel all upset with these stupid stories. Although I got that one about the bilingual message in the LA Times, which is kind of like the reverse. Well, you'll hear it. You'll see. But it sure fits right in with Florida. And the fact that just about all the Anglos hate the Cubans, and the Cubans hate the Ricans, and the Mexicans can't get along with anybody because, whatever. Those cotton picking, or is that grape picking? WQAM, hello.
Yeah, I got a real quick FEMA story for Neil.
Yeah, go ahead.
Neil, listen, I just got back from Mississippi. I took about 3,000 pounds of hurricane supplies out there.
Good for you, pal.
I ran across the FEMA distribution center.
Uh-huh.
They had materials and supplies stacked up like a super Walmart. You just would not believe it.
Yeah.
And as I was driving by, there was a huge sign out front that says, closed at 5 o'clock.
You probably missed the sign that said out fishing.
I took a lot of pictures on the trip out and back, and I was so dumbfounded when I saw that sign I forgot to snap a picture.
Yeah, well, you can be damn sure that Bush ain't going to let that happen in Texas this time. That's his crowd in there. You can be sure that these people are going to get whatever they want and then some.
Texas and Florida got it made, yes, sir.
Yeah, as long as we got a Bush, the burning Bush. Good job, Pally. Thanks a lot.
Okay, yeah.
8:38. We're going to be over. We might be over 900 votes by 1 o'clock. What do you think of that, Mr. Hotshot? Whoever you are. Huh?
We will.
8:38. And I bet you if I refresh that baby, it's 8:43. They're coming in chunks today. Isn't that amazing? That's probably because they found out the president was drinking again, and they're getting real nervous because they realize he's got his thumb right on it and the button too. Of all the things that Neil talks about, which is the least interesting to you? Which one just makes you do wild piles? 843 votes. Hockey 230. These people don't want any hockey talk, so cut it out, Geldy. Mr. Hockey Voice. The track 164. Gay stuff 62. Enough of the faggery, okay? We want some hetero crap. Gay. That's why when that trend comes out tomorrow, you'll see it's mostly George, because this one's got June, July, August. And so it's going to go through the roof. All those young punks that want some hetero on there talking about boobs. Mo 73, speaking of that. Diet Talk 69. The stock market 53. Inside radio stuff 37. Those bedtime stories 35. Still 4.1%. The same crowd. The same party poopers. Politics 28. Amsterdam 22. Religion 22. Yeah, let's hear about the old church in the red light district in Amsterdam. Health problems 10. Music and movies only 7 apiece, and food only 4. In fact, I think I'm going to make me a bratwurst just in honor of that.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QA.
Canada, you Jew bastard.
Okay.
Oi! Bush ignored the city of New Orleans.
Absolutely.
Yes, some of the people down there say he failed. Stuffed the people in the Astrodome like cattle, while half the National Guard was in Iraq. He cut funding for their levees, looters causing anarchy. In Aruba we made a bigger deal. In search for Natalie Holloway, for one white girl we drained a lake, and even asked for help from the Navy SEALs. George Bush was vacationing in Crawford. You fairy. I guess next year there'll be no Mardi Gras. Girls Gone Wild needs the city of New Orleans, or they'll have to send their film crew to Florida.
2701, look at that now. Did you see that last thing? Are you watching CNN? They certainly not News Network?
I am.
State line here. Best estimate for landfall is going to be early in the morning.
You see that? They're showing it coming right smack through Houston. And look where that line, look where it goes after that. Right through Waco and then right through Crawford.
Okay.
Huh? You see that? Right into Crawford, Texas. Wow. And the other thing that I want to tell you is if you saw that big red, the upper blob there and the outer bands, it is headed, I mean, it's terrifying to say it, but it's headed directly toward New Orleans. Ain't it?
It would be.
I mean, it is right now. If they would bring back that picture again of the Hurricane Rita in circular spinning, she's spinning it like a dreidel. Man, they're going to have some heavy-duty storm surge there. And so the governor again, Kathleen Baxter, Bernie Schwartz, Bilderberger, she says, everybody out. A bilingual message for Ms. Xenophobe. This is a column in the L.A. Times by Andres Martinez. Does hearing Spanish make you twitchy? Maybe California just isn't the place for you. You could certainly substitute the word Florida, am I right?
Absolutely.
So much for Santa Monica being ground zero for tolerance and progressivism, writes Andres. Recently at a Whole Foods market, itself supposedly a beacon of touchy-feeliness, a woman accused my son Sebastian's babysitter for speaking to him in Spanish.
Increíble.
Sebastian, all of 11 months old, was eyeing some fruit bearing offered for tasting, so Ursula asked him, ¿Quieres probar? That's when this perfect stranger, let's call her Ms. Xenophobe, swooped in to impart her hateful ignorance. You shouldn't speak Spanish to that child, she said. I'm sure that's not what the parents want. ¿Quieres probar? How about...
Rectum.
Oh, stop. She is sure, is she? Such breathtaking impudence, if only I'd been there to give the woman a piece of my mind, says Andres. It isn't just that the father of this blonde child happens to be a blonde half-Mexican, or my suspicion that nosy Miss Xenophobe might not have minded so much if Ursula had been speaking to Sebastian in Swedish or German. What's most disheartening about the incident is how mainstream this woman's views are about the undesirable of American kids learning a foreign language. This isn't a plea for immigrants to go about their business exclusively in their native language. I'm not somebody who believes that you can be a full member of the American community without speaking English. Let me say it again. You can't be a full member of the American community without speaking English, which is why I have qualms about open-ended bilingual education, says Andres. I wonder if Andres is related to Andres Cantor. But if it's important for immigrants to learn English or to assimilate into our society, it's equally important for all Americans, regardless of their ethnicity, to be exposed to foreign languages in order to assimilate into the broader world. And if people like Ms. Xenophobe think a blonde child's command of English will naturally suffer if he's exposed to a second language, they underestimate the dexterity of a child's mind and human intelligence. I was raised, Andre said, speaking both English and Spanish, and I sound like what I am, a native speaker of both. This is no reflection on my abilities. It's a matter of when I was exposed to languages. It wasn't until I studied French and Russian later on that I realized what a gift it was to have been exposed to two languages at such an early age. Go to a country such as the Netherlands, and you encounter an entire population that seems bilingual, if not trilingual. It's rather humbling. All speak in English in Netherlands, unless they're over the age of 100. As a matter of fact, the people in business there, they speak a whole bunch of languages. It's kind of shocking. But anyway, such is the disdain for foreign languages in this country, many second-generation Americans feel compelled to drop their ancestral language. When I first came to the U.S. as a student, I was stunned to discover that some of my Mexican-American classmates spoke no Spanish. In some cases, presumably because of a defensiveness beaten into them by societal pressures, they seem to resent my expectation that they would. Just like George, whose Spanish is really lame, and he admits it. How about taking a refresher course?
No, thanks.
Go to Pembroke Pines would be good. Within the U.S., only Utah seems to sufficiently appreciate the need to encourage multilingualism among native-born kids, and that has something to do with the Mormon Church's need for missionaries. They like that missionary position in Utah. Utah starts kids in a second language early and makes them stick with it. Many American schools start just about the time the kids lose their ability to effortlessly pick them up. Still, it's a good thing that the LA Unified District recently moved to stiffen high school foreign language requirements. Not so good as the politically correct trend at some colleges to consider sign language a foreign language. Oh, no. Ms. Xenophobe's reaction to Ursula speaking to Sebastian in Spanish is almost comical given his heritage. Instead of being outraged, she should have been particularly pleased to see someone she believed not to be Latino learning Spanish. The notion that it's somehow unpatriotic to encourage blonde toddlers in Santa Monica to speak a second language is not only narrow-minded and provincial, it is itself unpatriotic. The United States, not unlike the Mormon Church, has a strategic need for multilingual citizens. The nation's need is a matter of economic competitiveness and national security. We understand this is a society in moments of crisis after the Soviets launched Sputnik, say, or when Washington realized it had a shortage of Arabic translators in the aftermath of 9/11, but we do little about it day in and day out. My last message to Ms. Xenophobe, if the sound of foreign languages and cultural diversity makes you so twitchy, maybe California is not the place for you. And haven't you noticed that your city's name is in Spanish? Oh, boy. How do you like that? What do you say to that?
Oh, you were actually asking. I thought it was rhetorical.
Oh.
No, it's, yeah, you're right. It works here everywhere. I wish I could, speak Spanish with the kids, but I don't.
You better not. You better not, mister, because then all those good old boys will turn on your ass. All your buddies out there at the swing clubs, man, are going to turn on your ass.
Are you
speaking
kidding?
of swing club, what the hell did I have that story?
You should see the ethnic breakdown of Miami Velvet, just to name one of them.
Yeah. Are you standing again with that perversion?
Yes.
Good. I can't find that story about this place, this joint at a school they turned into a swing club. I want to make sure I got that. Here it is. I got it. Leave it to me. See, that's why it's always good to keep your pile. How come I didn't cross the second breakout? I did do it, didn't I?
Yeah.
Well, you never know. When you get to be 110 years old like I am, when you get to be a feeble old coot, 882, we're going to have over 900 votes by 1 o'clock. Josh is just peeing in his pants. He needs the Depends. You can't believe it. And you want to know what inspired them?
What?
Your great critique on the movie network. Indiana school converted to swingers club. Muncie, Indiana. Oh, man. Maybe you'll go up there and check it out, but don't. Residents of a southwest Muncie neighborhood thought the 110-year-old former school with purple doors had been vacant these past 14 months, so neighbors were surprised to find out that the building, which was last used as a bingo hall, is home to one of Indiana's 7 swinger clubs. They're swinging it. I thought it was empty, to tell you the truth, Mary Neal, who rents a house across from the club, told the Star Press. That shocks me. I'm just floored. There are a lot of kids that walk around here. Swinging involves having social and sexual intercourse with someone other than a spouse, boyfriend, or girlfriend. It primarily involves couples. Oh, this is a story from the Boston Globe. And, you know, everything's been banned in Boston. Those Puritans are still hanging around, so they have to explain it. Local religious leaders are vowing to shut down the 7,300-square-foot Club Layden. L-A-Y-D-E-N.
A rat.
Oh, man. What club you been laid in? Saying could bring crime into the community, and neighbors and city officials are debating whether the residential area is the proper location for a private club. Marta Moody, I wonder if she's kin to John Moody from Hazel Park. Marta Moody, director of the City County Plan Commission, said Club Layden could violate zoning rules for adult entertainment, but officials aren't sure whether the facility is operating as an adult business, or private club. City law requires adult businesses to be at least 500 feet from residential areas. A woman who identified herself as manager refused to give her name told the A&P that the club and its members were discreet and had received no complaints from neighbors. The club is open 2 days a week, has pool tables, a dance floor, a 6-person hot tub, a multiple shower, and centrally designed theme rooms, according to its website. Club Layden is open Friday and Saturday nights and advises its members to bring their own alcohol and contraception. The club provides sheets, bathrobes, and locker rooms. An annual membership costs $25 for couples and single men and $20 for single women. Members must agree not to identify others or their experiences at the club without permission. That's why it was a bad idea when you talked about taking Bob Green to a swing club.
I wasn't the one that started talking.
I was trying like to envision that in my mind. I just somehow, I don't know. Because I really don't think Bob ever really had a... I could be wrong about that. I don't think he's got one.
Well, no comment.
Oh, actually, you saw it, huh?
No.
884 votes. And then you found out he really was Jewish. Isn't that what you told me?
I know. No comment.
Bob Green. I was thinking about it the other day about the really good people I've worked for in the business, like Dick Casper and Gary Lawrence, and Dick Casper. 885 votes on there. How's music doing? It's got only 9. I'm shocked at that because they always... See, the people that hate my music, they're gone. The people that hate the bedtime stories, they're gone. I think these last 3 years we've been floundering based on what that guy said before. You know, Tom Dickens' boyfriend.
The ratings are weak. You know, what are we
we're pretty weak. Wait till tomorrow that trend comes out, and then George has to, atone for it.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QA.
Coming up on the next Al Franken Show, with powerful voices such as mine, opining against this fascist theocracy. You're in very, very soft hands. Who is this? Oh, yes. Chuck Mangione. La 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 la. I heard very little of this song when it came out. Back then I was huddled in my writer's cubicle at SNL. John, that Tom Davis used to sneak up behind me and give me a karate chop wedgie. Chop! Oh, that Tom, he was a caution. Yes, of course, back to the promo. Joining us on the Al Franken Show will be Tom Oliphant and some friends calling in with hilarious setup calls. Not to mention many very strong breaks. Because, you see,
902 votes on the poll. He just vanished, Al. He just disappeared. Maybe Catherine swooped him out of there. Catherine Lamper. I never heard her.
Oh, you're lucky.
Yeah. 902 votes already, man. It is just shocking what's going on in this poll today. And food is on the bottom. 5 votes. Movies 8. Music only 9. See, they don't mind those things, in spite of the rumors that some people try to start. How come we haven't talked about that JetBlue thing yet?
Okay, talk about it.
Everybody's seen it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were able to watch those little TVs on there until shortly before landing, they thought they were going to watch their own demise. The airliner circled Southern California for hours, crippled by a faulty landing gear, while inside its cabin 140 passengers watched their own life and death drama unfolding on live TV. While satellite TV sets aboard JetBlue Flight 292 were turned to news broadcasts, some passengers cried. Others tried to telephone relatives, and one woman sent a text message to her mother in Florida attempting to comfort her in the event she died. That was Lisa Schiff, who sent a text message to her mother in Miami. It was very weird. It would have been so much calmer without the television's Pia Varma of L.A. said after the plane skidded to a safe landing last night in the stream of sparks and burning tires, nobody was hurt. It was an accident, but nobody got hurt. Varma, 23, and other passengers said the plane's monitors carried live DirecTV broadcast on the plane's problems until just a few minutes before landing at LAX. The landing gear trouble, the front wheels were stuck in the sideways position, was discovered almost immediately after the plane departed Bob Hope Airport in Burbank at 3:17 en route to New York. The Airbus 320 circled the Long Beach Airport about 30 miles south of Burbank before being cleared to land at L.A. It stayed in flight for 3 hours to burn off fuel, said FAA spokesman Don Walker. Zachary Mascoon of New York said it was surreal to watch his plane's fate being discussed on live TV while it was in the air. At one point, he said he tried to call his family, but his cell phone call wouldn't go through. I wanted to call my dad and tell him I'm alive so far, the 27-year-old musician said. The pilot finally brought the plane down, back wheels first. As he slowly, I would hope back wheels first, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
As he slowly lowered the nose gear, the stuck wheels erupted in smoke and flames, which quickly burned out. I'm trying to think of a landing where you'd have the, well, what any? I've had some bad landings, but never the nose gear going down first. But nevertheless, at the end it was the worst because you didn't know if it was going to work, if it would catch fire. It was very scary. Grown men were crying, said Diana Hamilton, 32, a TV graphics specialist. As the plane was about to touch ground, Hamilton said crew members ordered people to assume a crash position, putting their heads between their knees. Their own knees, that is. They would yell, brace, 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 she said. I thought this would be it. Emergency crews from across the area met the plane on the runway. Spectators gathered on buildings and stood on parked cars to see firsthand as passengers walked down the stairway onto the tarmac with their carry-on luggage. Some passengers shook hands with emergency workers and waved to cameras. One firefighter carrying a boy across the tarmac put his helmet to the child's chest. We all cheered. I was bawling. I cried so much, said Christine Lund, 25, who was traveling with her cat. George cries a lot, too, because he hasn't been bawling so much. But anyway, this is facts. From Ed in Fort Lauderdale. More panty fun, it says. Man accused of hanging panties on cars at park. And by the way, I did print out that Bush. Thanks for reminding me about printing out the Bush booze crisis again.
Yeah.
So I can read it again in the last hour. Not that I want to pile on. Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, I do. A Wisconsin man upset with the Wausau Parks Department has found an unusual way to retaliate in Wausau, Wisconsin. Police said the man repeatedly hung women's underwear on department vehicles while they were parked for the night. They said he struck 30 to 50 times hanging bras and panties of various sizes on cars. Police said he admitted doing it after being caught on videotape. He told investigators he was upset with the Parks Department because an employee cutting grass at a park would blow grass onto him while he sat in a gazebo. Police have referred the case to the DA's office, recommending he be charged with disorderly conduct. Enough of the blowing already up there in Wisconsin, okay? Critics, speaking of that, predict Katrina whitewash. Oh, you don't believe that, do you? It must be more of that left-wing spinmeister propaganda. U.S. President George W. Bush's appointment of his own Homeland Security advisor to head a White House investigation of what went wrong with the government's Katrina response and how to fix it is being greeted with some skepticism by emergency preparedness and response experts. What a shock. These authorities, many of whom spoke to IPS on condition of, that's Interpress Service, on condition of anonymity, point out that the president's advisor, Frances Townsend, has little experience in emergency preparedness and response. She's a former prosecutor whose recent background is in terrorism-related intelligence. They also expressed doubt that anybody in the executive branch of government could produce an objective assessment of itself. It's kind of like the fox investigating the chicken coop.
Right.
The idea that anyone in White House might produce a report that embarrasses the president or holds people accountable is just naive, one source told IPNS. Dr. Jack Berman, a former Assistant Secretary of Commerce, said in an interview that the only self-incriminating investigation that's considered valid is a plea of guilty as charged. Since that will not be said concerning the Katrina debacle, the proposed process becomes a whitewash, or at least a light gray wash, and will not be seen as credible. It is a waste of time and money when attention should be paid how to rectify such incompetence, which requires an independent assessment, Berman be saying. But Townsend, a Republican who's gained a reputation as a tough-minded career official, might just confound her critics. We doubt it, but she might. She currently chairs the Homeland Security Council, reports to the President of Homeland Security Policy and matters relating to combating terrorism. She came from the White House to the White House from the U.S. Coast Guard, where she served as an Assistant Commandant for Intelligence. It goes on about Brownie Brown and Bobby Brown. I think we like Bobby Brown a lot better than Brownie Brown.
No question. In spite of that spindle.
Yeah, and speaking of Brown, you know, all these studies, where does the money come and who are these people that waste their time doing all these studies? Men are dirtier than women. So scientists confirmed by spying in public restrooms, watching as a quarter men left without washing their hands. The worst offenders were at an Atlanta Braves baseball game. Well, that figures. In contrast, 90% of the women did wash up. Wednesday's results mark the American Society of Microbiology's latest look at how many people take what's considered the single easiest step to staying healthy, spending 20 seconds rubbing with soap under the Farrah faucet. Let me say it again. When you go in to take an Uno, if you're going to wash it all, wash first before you touch your goods. Those of you who come out, who wash after taking an Uno, there's something wrong with that, unless you got a real dirty. See? You don't agree with that, do you?
We had this discussion.
Many times. Yeah. I just don't understand that. Of course, if you're doing the old deuce, well, that's Josh's lingo there. Ace, deuce, trace. What do you do after you do a trace?
A quad.
It also explains why these infection experts tend to use paper towels to open bathroom doors. There's no telling what germs the person before you left on the knob. Always check to see what kind of germs are on your knob.
Especially at the bathhouse.
Oh, God, it's a gamble, said microbiologist Judy Daly of Primary Children's Medical Center in Salt Lake City. Back in 1996, the society first studied how often people follow mom's advice to always wash up after using the toilet. Researchers lingered in public restrooms. Oh, yeah, researchers, my ass. Putting on makeup or combing their hair while surreptitiously counting, they concluded that about a third of people did not wash. Let me tell you about those people who hang around in public restrooms.
Yay. This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Not just the 1 to 2 hour, it's a phenomenon.
I'm curious about one thing. When Grandpa Mo was doing these shows from New York, do we have any idea where he's broadcasting from?
No idea.
No.
Well, let's find out. Let's get that put on the agenda for tomorrow.
I'll do that.
931 votes, and we still got an hour to go. Boy, this is really shocking. What's going on with these polls? Who says we don't do good poll? This just in, the Senate Judiciary Committee endorsed John Roberts to be Chief Justice of the U.S. today. No, what a surprise. With 3 Democrats joining majority Republicans in sending the nomination to full Senate for confirmation. They said they really enjoy his performance, filling in now and then on the CBS Evening News. The committee voted 13-5 in favor of making the conservative judge the nation's 17th Chief Justice. Senators Herb Kohl and Russ Feingold of Wisconsin joined the committee's ranking Democrat Patrick Leahy of Vermont in crossing party lines to support Roberts. Explaining his support, Kohl said Roberts made it clear to him that he'll be a modest judge, not an activist, and will approach arguments with an open mind. This has not been an easy decision, but I think it's the correct one, added Feingold. Democrats Dianne Feinstein, not to be confused with Feingold or Feinstein or Feinberg.
Or
that's fine.
Dianne Feinstein, Joe Biden, Ted Kennedy, Chuck Schumer, and Dick Durbin voted against Roberts. They voted the old...
No.
Feinstein of California told a packed Judiciary Committee hearing room that her vote was decided after Roberts refused to fully answer questions from her and other Democrats in his confirmation hearing last week. I knew as little about what Judge Roberts really thought about issues after the hearings as I did before the hearings. This makes it very hard for me, said Feinstein, an abortion rights supporter. I cannot in good conscience cast a yay vote, she said. I will cast a no vote. Biden, who's just Biden his time, Democrat of Delaware, said he'd made a mistake in voting to confirm Justice Antonin Scalia, who avoided answering questions at his confirmation hearing and won't vote for Roberts either. All the committee's 10 Republicans voted to confirm the nominee. What a surprise, with Senator Orrin Hatch calling him the best nominee he's ever seen. I can tell you he's as good as it gets, Hatch said. And Hermann Goering probably would agree. Island City's 17-foot seawall likely to be topped. Where's that?
All right, David Mattingly there by the 17-foot seawall in Galveston. We'll continue
Galveston.
checking with you, David. Meanwhile, we want to take you straight to a news conference that's happening right now. The governor of
there's Governor Blankhead.
South of I-10 must evacuate, and you should be leaving now.
Awful lot of evacuating going on down there, you know, and a lot of it in the water.
Mm-hmm. Play that sound effect.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can't get Joyce for that one yet. 939 votes on the poll, a spectacular response. I think we hit the mother load, as Diana Parkinson said in Network, and I'm sure Josh was sleeping through that part.
Yeah, right about there.
Are they yelling at Atlanta? And she throws the phone up the air. I think we struck the mother load. She was so good, Faye Dunaway. 940 vote. You didn't like Faye Dunaway?
I did.
Yeah, I
in
did.
fact, Josh is such a Faye Dunaway fan, he's got her mounted on the fireplace. Well, picture. Hockey, 255. The track, 107. Of all the things Neil talks about, the least interesting to you, hockey, 255. Forget about hockey, okay? We love the Panthers, but don't talk about them. The track, 176. Gay stuff, 90. No more. No more of this faggery, okay? I'm Mr. Macho from this day forward, okay? I'm going to butch up. Instead of Faye Wayne, I'm going to be more like Marion Wayne. Mo, 84. Don't be talking about Mo. We're just sick of it. And you know something? They got tired of it about the same time I did. Burned out. All of that bit was great.
Yeah, I loved it.
Diet Talk, 79. No more diets. Let's just eat, get fat, and die, okay? Oh, and I forgot to put on my bratwurst. Don't let me forget about a quarter to 2. Stick it on there.
All right.
On my Flavor Wave. The stock market, 56, as in how many dollars you got left after your investments? $56, just like Q56. Inside radio stuff, only 42. See, the lower these numbers get, that means the more interested they are. You following that?
Right. I know.
Those bedtime stories, only 40. That's 4.2%. It's the same 4% all the way through. Oh, we hate that. You know, the Tom Jicker crowd. Well, turn on something else. Get lost. Because it's not going to stop. I'm going to continue doing what I like doing. I'm doing the Neil Rogers Show, and if anybody else don't like it, hey, see ya. That's always been my attitude, as opposed to, I'm taking this poll because it's a poll, because we got it. Not because I'm looking for, right. Although, like I said, the top 2 or 3 there, obviously. I'm not a fool, not a total fool. Well, politics, look how many politics got. Only about 30, man. Only 30 votes. They want to hear it. They want to hear that Bush bashing. They want to hear the truth. They want to hear it. In fact, I got Bob Herbert, voters' remorse on Bush. I got that here in a second. Oh, I got that gay couples protest. Well, we better not read that one. It's kind of a gay story. Might have to bury that one. Amsterdam, only 25, and religion, 25. How about religion in Amsterdam? All those churches. One thing about Europe, man, they got all those big, massive churches there. Every city's got a dome, a Duomo, a Dom DeLuise. Health problems, 14. Music, only 12. Solamente 12.
Very good. Oh, you're going to get that lady upset that's xenophobe.
Movies, 8. She's in California with Arnold. And food, only 6. So music, movies, and food, that's the show. There it is. And maybe once in a while, religion in Amsterdam. Praying, getting on your knees in Amsterdam and praying, or whatever. 950 votes. I just can't even begin to describe it. Like Hubert Humphrey would say, I'm pleased as punch. And Judy. Bob Herbert, who writes in the New York Times, says, voters' remorse on Bush. And don't let me forget about Bush's booze crisis again. I don't think once in a great while I'll read a story more than once during a show. That's bad. That's really bad.
No, it ain't. Not good.
But we don't have people listening all 4 hours, and it's such a shocking, and it's in the Enquirer, so it actually might be true as opposed to like if it was in the local fish wrappers, or like if it were, now what about the thing with the Palm Beach Post? Did we check that thing out?
No.
Well, Josh was all gung-ho there about, we get the Palm Beach Post delivered right here. Might have that. Do you have it?
No, we don't. But I know that Howard's broadcasting from WFAN studios.
From the Fan. Uh-oh.
Hanging out with Imus.
Wow. He's hanging out with who?
Isn't Imus on that station?
Hanging out with Imus. Well, there's a couple of doddering old clowns, but you see, there you go again. You started me again with that Mo bashing. No Mo. You crusty old coot. He's at the Fan. I wonder if Imus left any gum over for him. Maybe, just maybe, Bob Herbert writes, the public is beginning to see through the toxic fog of fantasy, propaganda, and deliberate misrepresentation that has been such a hallmark of the George W. Bush administration, which is in danger of being judged by history as one of the worst of all time.
Absolutely correct, sir.
Mr. Bush's approval ratings have tanked as increasing numbers of Americans worry that their president, who seems to like nothing better than running off to his ranch to clear brush and ride his bike, may not be up to the job. The most recent New York Times CBS News poll strongly indicated that the public, tired of the war without end in Iraq and dismayed by the federal response to the catastrophe in New Orleans, has growing doubts about the president's capacity to deal with pressing problems. A USA Today CNN Gallup poll found for the first time that a majority of Americans do not see Mr. Bush as a strong, decisive leader. In an article in USA Today, Carol Doherty of the nonpartisan Pew Research Center said of Mr. Bush, he's lost ground among independents, he seems to be starting to lose ground among his own party, and he lost the Democrats a long time ago. Reality is caving in on a president who was held aloft for so long by a combination of ideological mumbo-jumbo, the public relations legerdemain of Karl Rove, and the buoyant patriotism that followed those 9/11 attacks. The Bush people were never big on reality, so sooner or later they were bound to be blindsided by it, sooner or later. Remember, there was always a war going on when Katrina came to call. I've always believed that war is a serious matter, but the president was on vacation, Dick Cheney was on vacation, and Condi Rice was here in New York taking in the sights and shopping for shoes. That Americans were fighting and dying on foreign soil was not enough to demand their full attention. They were busy having fun. So it's no wonder it took a good long while before they noticed that a whole section of America had been wiped out in a calamity of biblical proportions. What Americans are finally catching on to is the utter incompetence of this crowd. And if we didn't know before, we're learning now in the harshest possible ways that incompetence has bitter consequences, as we at QAM have learned. The body count of Americans killed in Iraq is now past 1,900, with many more deaths to come, but there's still no strategy, no plan. The White House hasn't got the slightest clue about what to do, so the dying will continue. Mr. Bush's Top Gun moment aboard the aircraft carrier Abe Lincoln was 2.5 years ago, another example of the president in fantasy land. The war was a botch from the beginning. Mr. Bush never sent enough troops to get the job done, and he never provided enough armor to protect the troops that he did send. Thin-skinned, the president got rid of anybody who had the temerity to suggest he might be wrong about some of the decisions he was making. Here at home, even loyal Republicans are beginning to bail out on Mr. Bush's fiendish willingness to shove the monumental cost of the federal government's operations, including his war, his tax cuts, and his promised reconstruction of the Gulf Coast, onto the unsuspecting backs of generations still to come. There's a general sense now that things are falling apart. The economy was already faltering before Katrina. Gas prices are starting to undermine the standard of living of some Americans, and a full-blown home heating oil crisis could erupt this winter. The administration's awful response to the agony of the Gulf Coast has left most Americans believing that we're not prepared to cope with a large terrorist attack, and Osama is still at large. This is what happens when voters choose a president because he seems like a nice guy, like someone who would be fun at a barbecue or a ball game. You'd never use that criterion when choosing a surgeon or a pilot to fly your family across the country. Mr. Bush will be at the helm of the ship of state for 3 more years, so we have no choice but to hang on. But the next time around, voters need to keep in mind that beyond the incessant yammering about left and right, big government and small, Democrats and Republicans, is a more immediate issue, and that's competence. Oh, competence? What's that?
You're funny.
Good question, as we've been wondering a long time here at QAM. Although I will say the audio vault's been working all day. Let's hear it. For engineering, baby, they're the best.
Got 1 day in a row.
They are sensational. 113 at 560 WQAM. Mo from the Fan in New York at 2 o'clock. Grandpa Mo. How did you sleep last night? A recent national survey by the National Sleep Foundation, fewer than half Americans report getting a good night's sleep most nights. And one of the primary reasons is because they don't have a comfortable supportive mattress, like a great new Simmons Beauty Rest Queen set from our good friends at Dollar Mattress. This Simmons Beauty Rest features individually pocketed coils, so you won't feel your partner moving during the night. Now priced at just $599. This is for a limited time only, so pick up that phone and call 1-800-MATTRESS right now and tell me what their Neil deal. That's Simmons Beauty Rest at just $599. Plus, a portion of every Dollar Mattress purchase is being donated to Hurricane Katrina relief. When you call 1-800-MATTRESS, you still get same-day delivery all across South Florida. You'll choose from the deepest selection. You still pick the date and 2-hour window for delivery to fit your schedule. And, of course, Dollar Mattress shows up on time almost every time, 99.7% of the time. I've been using them for years, and if your mattress is lumpy and bumpy, you ought to be doing the same. Just pick up that phone and make that easy call, or log on to mattress.com. Give Dollar Mattress a call right now and have a great sleep tonight. As soon as tonight on a great new bed from Dollar Mattress. 1-800-MATTRESS, 1-800-MATTRES. Leave out the last S because it stands for sensational, stupendous savings.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Dirt.
Absolutely.
Bush took responsibility after Michael Brown resigned. I bet you Brown has second thoughts about taking it in the behind. Where was FEMA? Broken levees, FEMA was nowhere in sight. FEMA! Even with warning, FEMA's boss wasn't bright. When the storm was over, water was everywhere. But the biggest disaster was that Mexico beat you there. They beat FEMA. No bid contracts, they went to Halliburton. FEMA responds more quickly when it's rich people hurting.
Absolutely.
When it's rich people hurting.
Uh-huh.
FEMA!
Yes. 20 after 1. You know, I'm looking at the Sun Sentinel.
Okay.
And they got a nice this infrared satellite image of Rita. And I also just looked at the New Orleans radar. And they've already had some rain go through there, some blobs, just spattering off of those outer bands. But the outer bands are getting really close already. So I don't understand. They just had Ed Rappaport on there again, Mr. Coma from the National Hurricane Center, and he's doing bada beep, bada whoop, and he's talking about Houston and this and that and the Astros and how they're going to win the pennant. And in the meantime, we got bigger fish to fry right now because those outer bands. We're talking tropical storm force winds and tons of rain, and those levees, man, aren't going to be able to hold it. Which is why that Mayor Babbling Babineau was on there before. Blanco. What a perfect name for her, by the way, Blanco. I said, what's she got between the ears? Blanco. We know some people like that. They're in management. Anyway, those outer bands, well, I don't, what do I know? I'm not the no weather guy, okay? I'm just taking a look at it, and it don't look too inspiring. Wrong woman pays child support to Peterson mistress. The former mistress of convicted murderer Scott Peterson is back in the spotlight after a DNA test showed that her first child was not a masculine child. Oh, no, her first child was not fathered by the man who was paying child support. Her first child should be a masculine child. Remember that? That was so great.
Luca.
Well, at least Josh liked Godfather.
Well, who doesn't?
Okay. Well, no, I've known there. We tried that once. Remember, George? We did that quite a while ago.
Every once in a while, I'll run into people
and came to find out that we have a few sourpusses out there that no matter what it is, Godfather sucked. That was bad. You know, no matter what you like, they don't like it. There's always a few contrarians out there. That's their life, just to be negatory. You could bring them like, a banana split with sprinkles on it. I don't like that. Too much vanilla in there. Which is true. If you have a banana split, don't have any vanilla ice cream. Oh, well, there he goes again with that. See, don't talk about that. Although, how's food doing on the pole? Food is down there near the bottom, isn't it? Are they bottom feeding? Yeah, food's on the bottom. 973. Kind of like that yogurt where they have the trout on the bottom, fruit on the bottom.
Right.
Anyway, Anthony Flores, 29, has been paying Fry $175 a month for nearly 4 years. His attorney, Glenn Wilson, said yesterday. The father of the 4-year-old is actually Fresno restaurant owner Christopher Funch. How do you like that? He's a restaurant owner, Christopher Funch. Let's go for lunch. What do you think? He's going to have to pay her up. Funch. No one answered the telephone at Porky's Rib House yesterday, and Funch did not have a listed home number. Don't get porky about it now, Mr. Funch. Wilson said Flores was preparing to file a court motion seeking visitation rights, which has been denied. When the man received word last week, he's not the child's father. Boy, she sure got around, you know what? What a slut.
Yeah, she is.
Fry's attorney, Gloria Allred, said Wednesday that her client never intended to deceive Flores. Amber, in good faith, always believed that Mr. Flores was her child's father, Allred said. Oh, yeah. Just like poor Cassie believes that's really, what's-her-name's baby on Guiding Light. What's her name? Dinah. Nothing could be finer than get rid of Dinah. And Richard's trying to do it. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? See, that's the part of the show that I enjoyed most. Fry, a message therapist from Fresno, was a Peterson's mistress when he killed his pregnant wife, Lacey. Well, we all know. It was boring. Well, what about that missing chick in Aruba? And then, of course, they got somebody in Virginia now, some missing chick somewhere.
It's my favorite recipe. Chicken Aruba.
So tired of that crap, man. Just after you take care of Robert Grieper, take care of Rita Cosby for me, please. Call up Pat Robertson and take him out for dinner. Or just take him out. As Hurricane Rita, but I better get to this Bush thing, because otherwise I'll forget. You know me?
Don't forget that Bush thing.
This is breaking news, it says, from the National Enquirer. Did we put this on the website yet or not, Josh?
What's the headline? What's the question?
Bush's Booze Crisis by Jennifer Luce and Don Gentile, or is that Gentile? I sent it to you this morning, so you probably didn't put it on there. You probably should if you put it on there now. Not that I want to put pressure on you, but you better damn well do it. But now, see, take a look at those bands, man. Look at that.
The rubber bands?
That? No, seriously, take a look at the bands from the hurricane. Those outer, the big red blobs, huge blobs, and you know that they're the bands whip up those winds, the storm surge is nasty as all hell.
They're going to start licking New Orleans any minute
now. Oh, my God, and the levees are going to be looking for their Hamantash in someplace else, I'll tell you that, because it's, I don't know why they're not talking more about that. Because that's some really nasty stuff. And, yeah, it's not like you're taking a direct hit for them, thank goodness for them. It's the last thing they need, but nevertheless. At any rate, Bush's booze crisis, it'll be on the website today, or else Josh won't be in tomorrow. Faced with the biggest crisis of his political life, President Bush has hit the bottle again, the National Enquirer can reveal. I think I better do the break, which will also give you time to stick it on there, right?
Yes.
No, because I don't want to
interrupt. You don't want to
rush.
No.
Don't want to rush through it. I want to read it very carefully. I want to let everybody know that things are just fine, okay?
Oh, we're fine.
People dying in Iraq. We got all these national emergencies, horrendous weather. We got global warming. We got all kinds of people dying all over the place. We got $5 a gallon gas potentially on the horizon. We got wonderful stuff going on. And your president, when the tough gets going, the president gets the bottle when the going gets tough. Yeah, I'm looking at those. In fact, even look at Florida there on the West Coast. I think Tampa may get obliterated. Oh, we might have some people listening in Tampa. We're just kidding. We don't like you very much, but we like the people. We just don't like the city. How's that deli doing in Tampa? They still in business?
No.
Don't know.
26 after 1. How many Jews in Tampa?
About 30, man.
26 after 1 at 560 WQM. We got Mo from New York, from the Fan at 2, Grandpa Mo. Here's your very last chance to save yourself thousands on a brand new Ford from Armstrong Ford of Homestead. They've always, like I tell you every day, treated everybody just like family. And right now, they would like to extend an offer to you to join their family. Ford nationally has extended their Ford Family Plan offer through September the 30th.
About 30, man.
And right now, as I speak, at Armstrong Ford of Homestead, you can get the same great pricing that every Ford Motor Company employee and their families be getting. Not only do you get employee family pricing, but you also get Armstrong Ford's exclusive Tires and Batteries for Life program. And for a limited time with any new car purchase, you get a color TV free. How could you possibly turn all of this down? Pick up that phone right now and call 305-247-5112 and ask for our buddy David Rich. You won't get a better deal on a Ford anyplace. No bait and switch, no phony deals. And this fantastical offer is available only at Armstrong Ford Homestead, where they always treat you like family. Armstrong Ford Homestead, located at US 1 Southwest 307th Street, just 20 minutes south of the 836. You won't get a better deal on a Ford anyplace else in town, so why waste the time? Check them on the web, armstrongcars.com, and then give David a call at 305-247-5112. He'll tell you all about the Ford Family Plan. Drive just a few miles extra to save yourself thousands of dollars at Armstrong Ford of Homestead.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 GAM.
Loves Neil Rogers.
Absolutely.
She's oily, doily, and old. Looks like the Quaker Oats guy. Smells from the body roll mold. Barbara Bush has 40,000 eyes full of her ice popped out. It happened when she realized she raised for criminal clout.
Absolutely.
Barbara Bush has 40,000 eyes. And she's nasty, old and crafty, and she raised for place exactly. She's atrocious and takes some brick to anyone who says they want no bush. Walks like she's carrying a bowling ball between her thighs and has 40,000 eyes. She's hasn't been to court, as if she's always surprised. Teeth wiggle when she talks. Barbara Bush has 40,000 eyes. She gave us George Bush and Jeb Bush, not to mention Bill and Robin Bush. He'll be rich and fat and smells just like the magic sauce on a Big Mac. Barbara Bush resembles Ernest Borgnine on a bad day with 40,000 eyes.
999 votes on the poll. Next one's going to be the 1,000th. In fact, if I refresh it, I bet you've got like 1,000. We're not shooting for anything now because 1,000. Look at that. Isn't that great?
It's wonderful.
Now, we're not going to push it because they came through. Thanks to Josh Cordes for doing a great job getting that story on there about bushes. And mainly I'm thinking because now at least I can read it off of there as opposed to the teeny tiny print from the Enquirer thing on there. If you could see some of these things that I read, you have to have the Mount Palomar telescope to print it so tiny, you know?
Oh, we'll have to get you some Magnavision reading glasses.
No thanks. But before that, before the Bush, more Bush stuff here, fat-ass Governor Bush. Boy, everywhere you look, there's another Bush. No comment. Governor Bush warns Hurricane Rita could set off a gas crisis in Florida.
Oh, my God.
How do you like that? Not that we want you to get nervous or anything like that. Governor, your fat-ass Governor Jeb Bush urged Floridians this morning to conserve fuel as the monstrous Rita bears down on the Texas Gulf Coast and the heart of the nation's oil industry. No need to panic or anything like that, but I would go out and get a bicycle just in case. In all likelihood, we're going to have significant shortages of gasoline. I would urge people to recognize this, not to hoard, not to top off every tank that they have, Bush told reporters in Tallahassee. We have a plan in place that we're dealing with to bring supply back to our state. Thank you very much, fat-ass Governor, for those low gas prices, and your brother, and your mama. Less than 4 weeks ago, Hurricane Katrina, well, we know about that. Prices rose more than 40 cents almost overnight from Katrina. Cars back 20 deep at a number of central Florida stations. Some ran out altogether. And Rita could do even worse.
Oh, my God.
The storm is heading toward an even larger part of our refining capacity than New Orleans or Mississippi, Bush be saying. That's your fat-ass Governor Bush, not to be confused with his dumbass brother. People need to recognize this is a national problem. This is not a state problem, Bush said. We all need to play our part. Meanwhile, Bush said that among the 1.3 million evacuees are his parents. That's why I played that bit. His parents, Houston resident and former President George Herbert Walker Bush, and his wife, Barbara. They're up in Washington, Governor Bush said, the fat-ass governor. Their house is all boarded up. That's right. They're not going to stick around. They're not going to wait for the big blow. How come if it's not good enough for all those wonderful people who are so much better off than they were before? Well, I guess the Bushes would not be better off. I guess that's it, huh?
Right.
It would be really great not to have to evacuate. 1,007 votes. We might just do that 1,100. I don't know. This audience might come true for us. Anyway, here's that story. Bush's booze crisis. It's in the National Enquirer by Jennifer Luce and Don Gentile. Faced with the biggest crisis of his political life, President Bush has hit the bottle again, the National Enquirer can reveal. Bush, who said he quit drinking the morning after his 40th birthday, has started boozing amid the Katrina catastrophe. Family sources have told how the 59-year-old president was caught by First Lady Laura downing a shot of booze at their family ranch in Crawford, Texas, when he learned of the hurricane disaster. His worried wife yelled at him, "Stop, George!" Following the shocking incident disclosed here for the first time, Laura privately warned her husband against falling off the wagon and vowed to travel with him more so she can keep an eye on W, the sources add. When the levees broke in New Orleans, it apparently made him reach for a shot, said one insider. He poured himself a Texas-sized shot of straight whiskey and tossed it back. The First Lady was shocked and shouted, "Stop, George! Shop, George!" Laura gave him an ultimatum before. It's Jim Beam or me. She doesn't want to replay that nightmare, especially now when it's such tough going for hubby. Bush is under the worst pressure of his 2 terms in office, and his popularity is near an all-time low, as we know. How low can he go? The handling of the Katrina crisis and troop losses in Iraq have fueled public discontent and pushed Bush back to drink. A Washington source said the sad fact is that he's been sneaking drinks for weeks now. Laura may have only just caught him, but the word is his drinking's been going on for a while in the capital. He's been in a pressure cooker for months. The war in Iraq, the loss of American lives, has deeply affected him. He takes every soldier's life personally. It's left him emotionally drained. The result is he's taking drinks here and there, and likely in private to cope. And now with the worst domestic crisis in his administration over Katrina, you pray his drinking doesn't go out of control. Are you praying? Another source said, "I'm only surprised to hear that he hadn't taken a shot sooner. Before Katrina, he was at his wit's end. I've known him for years. He's been a good old Texas boy forever." George had a drinking problem for years that most professionals would say needed therapy. He doesn't believe in therapy. He never got it. He drank his way through his youth, through college, and well into his 30s. Everybody around him is drinking. Another source said, a family member told me they fear George is falling apart. The First Lady's been assigned the job of being gatekeeper. Bush's history of drinking dates back to his youth. Speaking of his time as a young man in the National Guard, he has said, "One thing I remember and I'm most proud of is my drinking and partying. Those were the days, my friends. Those were the good old days." At age 26 in 1972, he reportedly rounded off a night's boozing with a 16-year-old brother Marvin by challenging his father to a fight. On November 1st, 2000, on the eve of his first presidential election, Bush acknowledged that in 76 he was arrested for driving under the influence of booze near his parents' home in Maine, age 30 at the time.
About 30, man.
Bush pleaded guilty and paid a $150 fine. His driving privileges were temporarily suspended in Maine. "I'm not proud of that," he said. "I made some mistakes. I occasionally drank too much, and I did that night. I learned my lesson." In another interview at that time, he said, "Well, I don't think I had an addiction. It's hard for me to say. I've had friends who, were very addicted, and they required hitting bottom to start going to AA. I don't think that was my case." Yeah, he ought to go to AA. Which AA? Not Alcoholics Anonymous, but A-Holes Anonymous.
Where do they meet? Here?
In Crawford. During his 2000 presidential campaign, there were also persistent questions about past cocaine use. Eventually, Bush denied using cocaine after 1992, then quickly extended the cocaine-free period back to 74 when he was 28. Dr. Justin Frank, a Washington, D.C. psychiatrist and author of Bush on the Couch, Inside Mind of the President, told the National Enquirer, "I do think that Bush is drinking again. Alcoholics who are not in any program like the president have a hard time when stress gets to be too great. I think it's a concern," he says, "that Bush disappears during times of stress. He spends so much time on its ranch. It's very frightening," the good doctor said. How do you like them apples, huh? Nero was fiddling, and George is boozing while we're burning.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Kill them all, and they don't come any better than Todd Keller.
New on the WB from the creators of Supernatural. Pamela Anderson stars in Super But Not Natural.
Are those things real?
Those are fake. How do you know that they're fake?
I'm really excited because I've always wanted to have my breath on national television, so let's get to it.
I'm a famous film star with the Daytime Emmy and bang, right kaboom!
I didn't drop $5,000 on you judge to keep them under wraps.
Lucky for you, if you have to make a water landing, she has those huge flotation devices attached to her chest.
Super But Not Natural.
I'm getting big fake breasts. Stripper big.
Filmed in Silicon Valley.
I'm dying to see you and your giant new boobs.
I call it the hard rap cafe.
1:45. So anyway, this is pretty interesting, this thing from Miami New Times. I'm not going to read it, but about WFTL 850 was once an oasis of local talk. Now it's just another haven for hate, writes Bob Norman, whoever that is. And, of course, Norman Elliott Kent. He ain't no longer on there on 850. Now, let's see. Isn't that the station where all I hope that they're really proud up there, Petey Lenny and Tommy Denenberg and Bob Eisenberg. Isn't that the station where they're working now, 850, FTL?
I don't know.
I do believe. And now, evidently, they have nothing but right-wing hate on there all day. Neil Bortz and the Kelly Mitchell and this, and of course, Bill O'Reilly, and not to mention the worst of all, and Michael Savage, who got tossed off MSNBC for telling a caller that he was a sodomite and should die of AIDS, stuff like that. And anyway, the article, Miami New Times, pick it up and read about what they've done. And that's how desperate they are up there. Right-wing hate, sick, bigoted, nasty hate. That's 850 on the dial. Hope that all their sponsors are real proud of the crap that they're putting on. Bigotry and hate, 24/7 now on 850. That's how desperate they are to try to find an audience. Lovely. Well, it worked for Fox, I guess. They might figure it works for them. Finally, and I do mean finally, they get into it. New Orleans rain raises new flooding fears. Haven't I been squawking about that all day?
Since like 9 this morning.
Yeah, since before the show went on, we were talking about this. We were confabulating. Outer bands of rain from Hurricane Rita began falling in New Orleans today, and forecasts of between 3 and 5 inches of rainfall in the coming days raised fears that the patched levee system could fail and flood the city all over again. A direct hit from Rita was still unlikely. And by the way, the hurricane now is a Category 4. It's down 150-mile-an-hour winds down to a Cat 4. But still, keep in mind what Katrina came on. Sure, it was a Cat 4. But anyway, the storm veered on a more northerly course toward a Saturday landfall in Texas that put New Orleans on the eastern edge of tropical storm warning. Rita's rains and predicted 3 to 4 foot storm surge could bring New Orleans dangerously close to predictions that the fractured levees can handle only up to 6 inches of rain and a storm surge of 10 to 12 feet. And they're saying, didn't Mayor Bonehead, didn't she say like 20 foot surge they're looking for?
Their boats?
Right now, it's a wait and see and hope for the best, said Army Corps of Engineers spokesman Mitch Fraser. He added that the new forecast brought renewed urgency to efforts to shore up levees with sandbags and bring in more portable pumps. Maybe the one that the judge was using out of his robes, they can bring that one in.
Slightly used.
Yeah. Today's showers were the first measurable rainfall in New Orleans since Hurricane Katrina's August 29th landfall broke the levees in several places and flooded 80% of the city. Only spotty showers are falling at mid-morning, but forecasters said there could be brief periods of heavy downpours as Rita's outer squall bands moved through, which is what I've been saying all freaking day. And why don't I know nothing? But unless you're deaf, dumb, and blind, you can see it. Fraser said the biggest concern was the storm surge, which the National Hurricane Center will be 3 to 4 feet above normal in parts of Louisiana and Mississippi affected by Katrina, but a slight turn could increase that dramatically. A tidal surge of 15 to 20 feet was expected from Corpus Christi, Texas to south-central Louisiana. Is that kin to like Lou Christie? And don't forget, lightning strikes when you least expect it.
Oh, boy.
Engineers say a 10 to 12-foot surge was required to overtake the levees at 17th Street and London Canal in New Orleans, but in neighboring St. Bernard Parish, a surge of 5 to 6 feet was all that was needed to swamp the area again. If the levees fail again, the areas of New Orleans that are most likely to flood are the same neighborhoods inundated by Katrina, many of which have been dry for less than a week. If it's a quick, fast rain, then we'll see localized flooding, Fraser said. There's no doubt about that. The process of getting the water from Katrina out was nearly complete, with only about 10% of the city still flooded, and the Corps is confident it'll be able to quickly pump it out again, if, of course, all this other stuff doesn't materialize pronto. Searchers continued looking for bodies in homes that had been locked or submerged under Katrina's highest floodwaters, pushing the overall body count past 1,000. Death toll in Louisiana still is 799, increase of 153 since the weekend. Nearly 80% of the 1,036 deaths attributed to Katrina across the Gulf Coast region are in Louisiana. Officials said the body search could last another 4 to 6 weeks and could yield many more dead. There still could be quite a few, especially in the deepest flooded area, said U.S. Coast Guard Captain Jeffrey Pettit. Some of the houses they haven't even looked in yet. Mark Hyman, a FEMA field spokesman, said the searches will continue, but officials were keeping a close eye on the weather. Special reconnaissance teams are looking for solid buildings, rock solid, in such areas in case rescuers need to rush to higher ground. Don't know, but they sure haven't been talking about this very much. But like I said, you take a look at that and you say to yourself,
oh, my God.
Oh, boy. I'd batten down the old hatches and head for Natchez and get the hell out of there. Now, some of those stubborn... See, this is the thing. Stubborn people that stay behind, I know we're supposed to be sympathetic for everybody and value human life, but if they have no value on their own human life and they're that stupid, why the hell should we be all bent out of shape about it, right?
Oh, they had that going on during Mount St. Helens. Remember, there were people that wouldn't go in the
I can understand the people that are disabled, the people that, but this time they're getting everybody out right away so that we don't have that embarrassing disaster again. But I can understand that. They don't have the ability to get out. But the bottom line is if they do and they're just sitting around to be stubborn and stupid.
If I had the ability to...
See? Maybe Alice Bennett is under all of that, is drowning over there. Wonder whatever happened. Oh, that's right. He's on Scare America. Remember Norma told me that? He walked into that studio in New York and there was Alex Bennett sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
With that same bald-headed, stupid look. 1:51 at QAM.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
He's a tiger. Jim Dunlap. Wonderful. WQAM.
Good day. Thank you. Please be seated. I want to remind people that who might be listening that this administration is a group of frustrated and desperate people who kill innocent life. And Americans ought to view it as such. And now I'll be glad to take some of your questions. Terry, why don't you start?
Thank you, Mr. President. As you know, New Orleans is destroyed. Thousands are dead and countless families are now homeless. I'd like to get your thoughts on this overwhelming problem.
Oh, we don't have a problem. Let's ignore it.
Sir, might I remind you that you have a responsibility as the Commander-in-Chief to step up and act on the people's behalf?
Okay, here's what I intend to do about it. Failure.
Thank you, sir. I'm curious if you're worried that your poor handling of Hurricane Katrina will lead to your downfall in Washington, D.C.
I don't worry about anything here in Washington, D.C. I mean, I feel comfortable in my role as the president, and my role in the president is to push terrible disease in order to destroy life. And I have made my position very clear on that issue. David?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thousands of stragglers remain stranded in New Orleans, surrounded by raw sewage and without food. What is your administration proposing they eat?
Duty. Listen, thank you all for coming out. Enjoyed it.
No problem at all. Okay, anytime a photo op. It's 1:58. Mo is coming up next from the fan in New York, Grandpa Mo. 1,047 votes today. See, it's a good thing we didn't push for 1,100. You want to know why?
Why?
Because when you set the bar too high, then you have to keep, like, topping it. And you know what I'm saying?
I know.
My altitude now is if we get 1,000 votes during the show in any poll, we're kicking serious ass. You know what I'm saying? We're doing just fine. As in...
Oh, we're fine.
Anyway, of all the things that Neil talks about, which is the least interesting to you? Hockey. I mean, make no mistake about it, this is not a hockey town. Hakmir Nishkain Chinik about hockey. 281, that's what the Chinese say. What do they know about it? Ever see any Chinese hockey players?
You got to tell me that.
Actually, there was I think Japanese. Michael Park, whatever his name was.
There's a new one.
New what?
A new Japanese hockey player, now that you mention.
How do you know that?
I read the story about it.
Hockey, well, stop with the hockey talk. 281. The track 195. Gay stuff 97.
Gay.
No more faggery. Mo 96. No Mo. Diet talk 88. The stock market 58. Inside radio stuff only 47. See, those bedtime stories only 42. Down to 4% even. They actually love them. Politics 32. Religion 28. Amsterdam 25. Health problems 16. Music only 15. Oh, we're doing a whole bunch of music shows. Not. Movies 8 and food only 7. And you never reminded me to put that damn bratwurst on there, damn it.
Oh, hey, don't forget that bratwurst.
Okay, let me go heat up my meat. Anyway, we got the Mo Meister coming up next. Grandpa Mo from the fan in New York.
Bye, bye, bye.